welcome everybody to the RGW podcast. The Regular Guys Wrestling Podcast is back for episode 12. Can you believe it's been 12 episodes of the podcast so far, hey?
Time has flown.
Time's flown.
February 6th, I think, was our first episode.
February 6th, wow, exactly.
Pretty sure.
Huh. Well, it's Thursday, April the 27th today. Yeah. Shout out to the Big Red Machine Kane. It's his birthday today.
How did you know this?
I read it somewhere today. He's the Big 5-0.
The Big 5-0.
Yeah.
Is he mayor or something yet? Or
Not yet.
County?
No, I think he's running for mayor of some county in Tennessee, I think.
We may have to mention his name later on to celebrate his birthday.
Possibly.
Right on. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we got lots of rumors to discuss today.
Cool.
Once again, we got a pretty fun topic of discussion.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about this one.
Yeah.
This will be good.
And we've been looking forward to this for over a week now,
Yeah.
James and I.
A whole week.
A whole week, baby.
A whole week.
A whole week. And then we got our classic Raw review, followed by the Raw S&M, and we're going to try and get that Smackdown rush in today.
We're actually going to try it. We were talking that it's almost a running joke.
We promised you the Smackdown rush, and we don't fulfill.
But we're going to do our best this time to discuss SmackDown. It was actually a pretty good SmackDown this week, so I wouldn't mind chatting about that. That'd be good.
I did a little bit of reading here and there of some things that had occurred, so I should be able to follow along to a degree.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Should be good. Let's get things started, James.
Cool. So let's get started with our rumors of the week. First off here, the Observer, that's the Wrestling Observer, in case you were confused as to which Observer this was. They note that Newsweek was working on a major story on the Mauro-JBL and JBL-WWE situation before a settlement was reached, and a new story was put together featuring quotes from all sides.
So we basically swept it under the rug and made things better with green paper.
So it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, didn't expect anything else.
Yeah, I mean it's really too bad that something more didn't come of this. There could have certainly been maybe some more investigation done.
You'll see Mauro-JBL again in the future, I'm sure.
With WWE, you think?
I would say so. They're probably maybe Mauro just wants things to change, like maybe JBL getting fired or something like that.
Well,
who knows?
I don't see that happening. So
No.
I don't think we'll be seeing Mauro-JBL.
He's been around forever, right?
Yeah, no, he's kind of, they used to call them the good old boys. He's kind of one of those good old boys.
JBL's probably been around since around 95, 94.
Well,
when he was Justin Hawk.
Justin Hawk Bradshaw, yeah.
Probably at least 22 years, I were to take a guess.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, so he's.
I remember when he wrestled
Put on his
somebody
time,
by
I
the
guess.
name of The Pickle. Do you remember that?
I do not remember the Pickle.
He was a jobber, and The Pickle won the first match.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why, but he won. So they had a rematch, and Justin Hawk destroyed him, and that was it. But I remember because you don't really expect a no-name jobber to win a match, right?
That is kind of weird.
Yeah, it was an unusual thing.
Oh.
Because often you don't, X-Pac, when he was 1-2-3 Kid, everyone thought, oh, he's a jobber that won. But meanwhile, it was a work, right? But this was just a jobber. He had no name.
So what did the Pickle do? Like what?
All I remember is he had like green trunks on.
Weird. I do not remember that in the slightest.
I know. I have a mind for this weird stuff.
Well, if you can find it online, I'd love to see this JBL versus the Pickle match from 1995.
I'll work on that.
Sounds good.
We'll discuss it next week. On to rumor number 2, guys. It is still expected that the red-headed Eva Marie. Well, actually, she's not red-headed anymore.
No,
she's her
dark brown, black?
brown now. Yeah. So Eva Marie will still be likely leaving the WWE when her contract is up. PW Insider notes the reason nothing has been done or said so far is because of her role on Total Divas.
Like, I don't watch Total Divas, but I'm kind of familiar with the show and who's kind of on it. Is she still on it?
It's tough because when I catch portions here and there, they're often older episodes.
Right.
Because the WWE Network is fascinated with showing irrelevant 2-year-old Total Divas.
Right.
So I don't know if she's on as of this moment. I have no idea. I know like new characters are like Renee Young and maybe Naomi's on there now. I know Renee Young's one character that's new, but I don't know. So, things change. There's turnover, just like in any other company.
Speaking of Renee Young,
Right.
I was reading this, I don't know if you saw this, but I was reading this interview with her today, because if those of you that aren't aware, her and Dean Ambrose got hitched a couple of weeks ago.
Well, that's right.
They're actually,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
they did
they're
get
actually
married.
married now. And I guess Eon Line asked her about her recent wedding to Dean Ambrose. Now, they talked a little bit about the ceremony, and I guess they asked, how was there a long engagement, things like that. She said, I wouldn't even really say that we were engaged. We were together. We've been together 3.5 years, and we knew that we wanted to have a Vegas wedding because we live in Vegas. We just figured we'd do it there, and we'd just do it super low key. We got our marriage license about 6 months ago when we were in Reno. There was a live event in Reno, and I was there with him. And we just happened to walk up to City Hall, and we went and got our marriage license. So we'd been sitting on it, and so that we could do this spur of the moment, hey, let's get married tonight kind of thing. And then they asked them about the idea of marriage, and when it actually came up, and she said, we were going to bed. We were going to bed, and he was busted out the ring, and we were like, oh man, I guess we should do this now. So they ended up going on Yelp. They found a 24-hour pastor to come to their backyard. She says it was handy. His name apparently was Pastor Pete.
This is so ridiculous.
He lived around the corner from them. Apparently, the pastor was very concerned, by the way, because it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So technically it was Sunday. And they were really concerned about them calling because they were like, is everything okay? Have you guys been drinking? Like, what's going on? And they said, no, it's fine. Just come down. So they got themselves a witness. They called. They woke up a friend. And they got it done.
Oh, God.
And she basically said they're very non-traditional. That's why they didn't feel they needed to do the whole engagement thing or do a big fancy wedding. It was just perfect for them. And there's not a single thing about it she would change.
Bunch of unusual oddballs right there.
That is bizarre.
They're very bizarre.
Well, but anyways, very happy for them.
Sure. Congratulations.
Congratulations to
Renee Ambrose.
I guess so.
Gosh, probably going to keep her last name or maybe hyphenate it.
Or
neither.
I don't think Dean Ambrose is his real name. So whatever his real name is.
Dean Cowbell?
No, isn't it like John Moxley or something like that?
What's a stupid name?
Renee Paquette Young Ambrose Moxley.
Yeah, is that what the name he went by when he was wrestling with his stupid long purple
with
hair?
the purple hair. So yeah, I don't. Maybe his name is probably not. It's probably like Jimmy Flubly.
Is he like French? Is that why you're saying it like this over and over?
I have no idea.
I don't know. But
Anyways.
yeah, congratulations to them.
Yep.
They both seem like they're unique individuals.
Yes.
She seems cool and all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
non-traditional.
That's
It's,
cool.
A lot of people are going that route nowadays.
You got it.
Sweet.
Yep. Okay, so getting away from Renee Young and that craziness, it's been reported that Tajiri is no longer with WWE, where he had been working in the Cruiserweight division on 205 Live. Now, I think this is actually a for sure. I believe I saw yesterday online that he actually did ask for his release, and he has been released. He is no longer with WWE.
Yeah, I'd heard that they were trying to license some things associated with wrestlers.
That's right.
And what were they trying to license that belonged to him?
Well, just his name.
Just his name. Okay,
Yeah.
Tajiri. Okay. Well, cool. Best of wishes to him. I don't know where he's going. If he's going to New Japan or not sure.
Yeah,
But,
or it's hard to say. I think he's into his 40s.
Oh yeah, he's older.
He's been around a while.
Yeah.
He was in ECW back in the day.
I saw him on one match on 205 Live just recently, but
Yeah.
that's all I saw.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So before we move over to rumor number 4, I just wanted to advise you that Dean Ambrose's real name
Yeah.
is Jonathan David Good.
John Good.
John Good.
Johnny Be Good.
That's right.
Or I guess that's just Johnny D. Good.
Johnny Be Bad.
Oh, that's Mark Marrow.
They should feud. God.
Johnny B. Good versus Johnny B. Bad. You're here first. WrestleMania 34. Main event.
It's going to happen.
Book it.
All right. WWE is apparently interested in Crazy Steve, Gunner, Leo Rush, Donovan Dijak, I'm Ron Burgundy, and Kyle O'Reilly, all of which will likely end up with the company within the next few months. So all these guys are Impact Wrestling stars, some more popular than others. Apparently Crazy Steve is a former tag team champ.
Yeah, I think he was with Abyss.
And I've definitely heard of Gunner.
Gunner, I know. Yeah, Crazy Steve. I don't think I've ever seen him, but yeah, he was with Abyss.
Yeah.
And then the other guys I have no idea. Leo Rush, Donovan Dijak, and Kyle O'Reilly. No clue.
Yeah, I don't really know who they are, but what I'm more or less trying to bring to everyone's attention is WWE is really trying to fill their roster still. They want more and more people, and I guess they're trying to pull the cream of the crop from Impact Wrestling. So let's see. We're going to probably see more and more faces, likely on NXT, let's face it. But
well, when you think about it,
NXT is getting a little slimmer.
Right now it's getting slim, especially with star power. Like Nakamura's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Finn Balor's gone. Samoa Joe is gone. The Revival are gone. American Alpha is gone. There's quite a few guys that are gone, which have kind of left them. The Perfect 10 is gone.
Yeah, they might just have to bring Sami Zayn back.
They might need to.
And bury him there.
But no, that's right. They basically kind of do need to replenish their roster. And right now, even though they've got quite a few guys, I don't think there's anyone like with a large amount of star power there right now, aside from like Bobby Roode and Drew Galloway, I guess.
Drew Galloway, McIntyre, or whatever.
But who else really is there right now? They're not floundering.
Oh, and they got that. I don't know. I remember. I always forget their name. That tag team there. That's kind of like the Wyatts.
Oh, that's with Eric Young.
Eric Young.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right,
Eric Young's a pretty big name.
Yeah, Sanity. Yeah. Actually, that's true.
I'm blown away with how good in shape Eric Young is.
Yeah, he's pretty beastly right now.
He is. Even when he was in Impact.
Yeah.
He he started off as a joke. I remember that. That's when Impact when TNA was actually more popular. When TNA was more popular, Eric Young was not. He was almost a jobber.
Well, he was with Team Canada way back in the day. But he was like the comedy had this bleach blonde hair, kind of a doofus.
Yeah, exactly. And then by the end, the guy had a world championship belt around his waist. Yeah. Now he's absolutely ripped, jacked, but he's thick, eh? He's built, but he's very small. He's a small dude. But no, he seems to be doing well. Whenever you see photos or vignettes or whatnot with his team, he certainly stands out. So he would do just fine on the main roster. I think they're just using him because, well, it's a little thin on NXT.
I think that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. So apparently Jack Swagger hinted in an interview with WrestleZone that he may head to Impact to reunite with Dutch Zeb Coulter Mantell.
Full name.
Dutch quote-unquote Zeb Coulter, you can't see my fingers right now, Mantell, when his 90-day non-compete clause with the WWE expires. And I guess that makes sense.
Oh yeah, they'd do very, like, it wouldn't hurt to have him on the show.
No, I don't think so.
He's very talented.
Yeah. I think him and Del Rio could maybe have some sort of a
I heard him on a recent podcast with Chael Sonnen. It was very good. Very good.
Cool.
Yeah, that guy's a beast. It's unfortunate that he wasn't used properly, and it's both sides of things. He wasn't amazing on the microphone.
Right.
What a physical specimen, right?
Great wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Had a lot going for him, but was I think just kind of missing a couple of couple of little key
He didn't just
things.
he didn't quite have it. Little Jericho there for you.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what kind of name he'll have.
Oh yeah.
'Cause he won't be Jack Swagger. He'll be Swaggy John. What's Swaggy John doing here?
Swaggy Jack.
Swaggy Jack.
All right. Amidst several rumors he was signing with Ring of Honor, Cody Rhodes tweeted out that he has yet to finalize a deal, even though he continues to say he's close to committing to one promotion. So, how many promotions has Cody Rhodes been wrestling in? Because he's all over the place, this guy.
Yeah, like he's with Impact for sure.
Okay.
He's with New Japan.
And Ring of Honor.
And he's been wrestling for Ring of Honor as well.
How about Global Force Wrestling?
Global Force Wrestling? I think he's their champion.
Oh, God. So am I, actually.
He has an invisible belt.
It's how they're represented. All right. Well, yeah, I guess so. He's going to go to Ring of Honor? I don't know, because I thought he was in Impact permanently.
Well, I guess the thing about it is that, like, a lot of times with Impact, a lot of these guys don't have necessarily these exclusive deals.
Oh.
Like, you used to, because way back in the day, AJ Styles, like, he wrestled for TNA at the time, when it was way back when. But he still wrestled for, like, NWA Wildside, and he still wrestled for, I don't know if, was Ring of Honor around by that point? It probably was in its very early beginnings.
Yeah,
but,
it's probably, yeah.
But I think he used to wrestle with them as well. Same thing with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, I think he still wrestled for Ring of Honor when he was wrestling with Impact.
Right.
And then, yeah, a bunch of other guys would have been kind of the same. So it's not necessarily unheard of for him to be wrestling with a bunch of these different places. New Japan, from what I thought, though, was pretty exclusive. Like, I was kind of surprised to know that he was pretty much in New Japan and Impact simultaneously.
Well, because New Japan and Ring of Honor are affiliated.
That's right. That's
They
true.
are.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had kind of do talent sharing. They actually have had events in the United States that were like co-promoted as well. So yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe Lucha will become affiliated with Impact.
Lucha Underground.
Yeah. No, apparently they're going under. That's the rumors, anyways.
Yeah. Well, they're not. I haven't heard anything about a new season.
Yeah.
Like, they're done with season 3, but I haven't heard anything more about it. We read a rumor a few weeks ago, and we reported it right here on the RGW podcast that it was still possibly going to be around, but it might look different than its current incarnation.
Yeah.
Which, who knows what that means?
They should just get rid of this season stuff. Like, what is this? A sitcom? Like, I don't,
Yeah,
it's just strange. I don't know. It just doesn't feel the same. I know it's different. They're doing it on purpose.
Right.
But is it good different or strange different?
Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't completely decided.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so according to Squared Circle Sirens, Ember Moon's injury from last week's NXT tapings was a work.
Yeah, so here are, you and I, last week, all freaked out that, holy, that must have hurt. And we marked out. We're
just a bunch of marks.
Wrestling's not fake.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Okay.
Just completely swerved.
We've been swerved.
It was like Kevin Nash.
Moon!
It was like Kevin Nash falling, gripping his leg at WrestleMania.
Just to get at everyone, eh?
Oh, man.
So there's whispers that WWE has reached an agreement to buy the Broken gimmick from Impact Wrestling, which could explain Matt Hardy's increased use of catchphrases and mannerisms on TV. Mm-hmm. I am seeing this. I'm noticing Hardy is acting a little weirder every week. Let's hope he's using it.
Like last week during the backstage interview, he definitely brought out not much, but a couple of little pieces of his speech where he could tell that was the Broken gimmick. He kind of had that Southern/British
I hope he
twang, as we spoke.
I hope he utilizes it soon enough, because after watching that match this week with him and Sheamus, boy, not as smooth as he used to be. His bro Jeff is still much more quick and entertaining, it seems.
Jeff really hasn't missed a beat.
Matt's gained weight too, and he's just not physically doesn't look in his prime, but personality-wise, he may be definitely in his prime, right?
Well, yeah. Physically though, you got to remember, like, the Hardy Boys are like, Matt's the older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's early 40s.
He's not that much older though, is he?
Well, early. Well, no,
Actually,
well,
I have
not
seen a photo where he's much taller when they were kids.
Yeah, no, he's not that much older than Jeff for sure.
We were wrong about something, a week or two ago.
What did we say?
We had stated that Jeff Hardy had never been injured,
Mm-hmm.
and that was wrong. I read today. I was looking up some stuff on him, and he was very much injured. His neck, and I think his spine. That's why when he left WWE originally, before he went to Impact, that he was very hurt.
It's all right.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm not surprised. The surprising part was how long it took for him to get hurt, right? But yeah, you jump off ladders that many times and do how many swanton bombs, you're bound to it's going to catch up with you, right?
Yeah, I guess it's.
But compared to others, he hasn't been injured that much.
I would think I've probably one difference for him versus some others is he's definitely not injury prone.
No, that's for sure.
Through all of the big bumps he's taken.
Made of rubber.
Yeah, he must be made of partially rubber for sure. Yeah, so anyways, Matt is actually 42.
Okay.
So 43 this year.
Okay.
And Jeff is actually only 39.
Okay,
So there's about 3 years between them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's more than I thought, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, regardless, that's not that much of a difference.
No, for sure.
But anywho, that's cool. I think you are right. Like, definitely on Twitter. Like, I know you're not really on the Twitter.
No.
But he definitely uses the broken gimmick
he does?
on Twitter.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely enjoy it. I don't watch really Impact Wrestling, but I've seen stuff online, and it is entertaining.
It is entertaining. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so apparently there may be heat on Rusev for, this is odd, but for cutting his hair without getting permission from the WWE.
I don't think it's as odd as you may sound it to be. I think in a WWE, and it's always been this way, if you're going to make a major change to the way you look,
Your image, yeah.
you do have to at least, unfortunately, ask for permission or bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
He probably should have, because I think he looked a lot cooler with the long hair. I know I hate change kind of thing, but he looks a little strange with his chrome dome haircut that he got when he's such a big dude. He had big hair right before, right?
Yeah.
So it matches the big body. Well, now he has a small head with a big body. Looks kind of strange with tiny Lana beside him.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the longer hair,
Mm-hmm.
and especially the style he had was definitely kind of passe.
Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, going for that really short fade, was pretty drastic.
He should shave it bald.
Pretty drastic. Go Kurt Angle.
That's always my answer for everything.
Just shave it bald.
I think it's my Stone Cold syndrome. You want to be a badass? Shave your head.
And you've already got the mustache and goatee.
Shave your head.
You could be the Bulgarian Stone Cold.
And that's the bottom line!
Because Handsome Rusev said so.
That was pretty good. It's pretty good.
It kind of sounded like Arnold there a bit too.
Whatever.
It's all good.
It is what it is.
And that's that.
All right. Roman Reigns was at Raw this week, but WWE chose not to use him for television, instead holding off on his return until Payback. So, no, he wasn't there. They unusually did a little vignette with him, a little discussion with him about what he's going to do to Braun Strowman and whatnot, and him mentioning the passing of his brother Rosie. That's more than likely why he wasn't on Raw. Mm-hmm. But if he was there, I think he should have just stayed home and continued to do his own thing, family-wise. But
it's
maybe he just wanted to get away from things.
And it's also probably one of those things too, where the writers or whoever was potentially doing this thought, you know what, maybe you should come just in case we decide that we want to have you on the show.
Okay.
And then they get him there, and then they decide, nah, I don't think we're going to use you. If that's the case, I'd be ticked off if I was Roman Reigns for coming down for virtually nothing.
For nothing.
Yeah.
And that font they used there when they were showing what he thought looked ridiculous, by the way. Some of it was big text, some of it was small. Like, was this written last second? I don't know.
Probably was.
It probably was, because like you'd said, he was there, but they didn't know what to do with him, possibly. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, here. This is an interesting one, and I can see this happening. We could be seeing a Charlotte babyface turn in the near future, as she was recently attacked by 3 heels, Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina, on the April 25th episode of Smackdown. Yes, she certainly was.
Yeah, and kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't expect this at all. I thought they were going to keep Charlotte heel for a long time. She's very good at being a heel. I actually don't. I don't want to see her as a face right now.
Yeah, I guess
too soon.
It is very soon. I mean, storyline wise, it kind of does make sense, because you've got Charlotte, who comes right into SmackDown, like right into, we'll call it this girl's yard, and the heels are jealous because she just shows up and out of nowhere gets a title shot.
Oh, and she's that good, right?
And so there's a jealousy factor there. It makes sense, but I agree. Like, it seems a little soon to have her switched over to a.
Yeah, she just plays the heel role so naturally. And I remember when she was face, she wasn't amazing at being a face at all. I really started getting into Charlotte when she turned heel. So I don't know, but. It's pretty obvious, it was on Sportskeeda. They were talking about it as well, but this rumor, essentially, I wrote it out myself to a degree, and then I looked it up, and it was confirmed. There's rumors out there talking about it already, but it was easy to gauge. If you got 3 heels attacking another heel, we've discussed this, a terrible way to turn face.
Right.
It's kind of, Seth Rollins-esque in a way, but except it's not a group, right? She was alone the whole time. But let's see what happens. But I'm willing to bet money that you're going to see her as a face within the next couple weeks, right? It'll be a slow burn to turn. So all right, Shaquille O'Neal, Big Shaq, has reportedly laid the blame on WWE for the failure to reach an agreement for his proposed match against Big Show at WrestleMania 33. Shaq has been quoted as saying on his podcast, The Big Podcast with Shaq, that they kept playing. First they said it was me and Big Show. Then they said it was going to be 3-on-3. Then they canceled it. So when they canceled it, I made other arrangements. I don't know. We'll never know. I don't know who's telling the truth here, but could see it either way, I guess. I don't know. In my opinion, that match probably would have sucked anyways. A lot of people are discussing, it didn't happen, but it would have sucked. I would have rather have seen Big Show and Braun Strowman. We've seen 2 amazing matches from them. God, that would have been a good way for Big Show to just retire. He's retiring in April. No, we're April this year, right? Next year, February.
He's at what, 2 years in
it's the start of next year, I think he's done.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. It's less than 1 year, and then Big Show's done.
Yeah,
he's said it freely.
So if it's February of next year, he won't even make it to WrestleMania next year.
No, that was his last WrestleMania.
That's too bad.
Yeah, because that wasn't very amazing for him.
No, he pretty much had a really ho-hum experience in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah, if he wants one last good match, it probably should be versus Braun, because I think it'd be good. And then I think he should just head off into the sunset. Because let's admit it, we've been hard on Big Show for many years. A lot of people chanting in the crowd, please retire, stuff like that. So if he can leave out on a good note, good for him. And, just don't leave out in a sumo costume or something like that. Because he's had a lot of gimmicky things.
He's had a lot of gimmicky matches. For sure.
And storylines. We might bring one up in a little bit.
We sure might.
God.
All right. Baron Corbin here is the early favorite to win the Money in the Bank briefcase in June.
I'm happy about this.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, Corbin's on fire by the looks of it. He's becoming one of the top guys on The live.
Mm-hmm.
The Smackdown live.
Yeah. Had another good showing against AJ Styles this week.
Yeah, I heard.
So it's 2 weeks in a row, actually. I
Yeah.
was surprised they were fighting again, but I had actually forgotten the previous week that it had ended in a kind of a. I guess the match kind of got thrown out.
I'm not surprised.
But
There's like no major guys on SmackDown.
no. But yeah. So anyways, they had a pretty good match. So I'd be fine with that. And they could kind of have it as a slow burn, and he could maybe cash it in. I guess SummerSlam might be too soon, but he could cash it in a little bit later in the year.
Sure.
Yeah. Just kind of keep feuding with. You could do AJ Styles or maybe somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it'd be
I
nice
like
to get
it.
someone fresh against him.
True enough, yeah.
I have a feeling you might see him versus Braun Strowman in the future. They
Yeah.
mention each other once in a while. They did at the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
He
yeah.
mentioned it and whatnot. He eliminated Braun from that Battle Royal.
That's true.
They're both big on them, almost to an equal level
Mhm.
right now. It's interesting.
Yeah.
They're both monsters, but different.
Yeah, they're
Kinda monsters.
Yeah,
He,
exactly. Yeah, Strowman's
He's a thick monster,
Yeah.
but still very in shape.
right.
And Baron Corbin is a slimmer, big guy.
Mm.
I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It would be good.
I think they'd mash.
I just don't know who would be the face.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
probably Corbin, but that's ways down the road.
Yeah, that'll be down the road for sure.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Apparently, the Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt House of Horrors match at Payback may be partially taped. Oh no. With the end of the match happening in the arena, but the beginning pre-taped somewhere else. This match is sounding more and more amazingly bad by the second.
This could be like one of the worst gimmick matches
Ever?
ever.
Could be. I don't think it's going to be received well.
No, I don't think so. And and this is hurting both guys.
I bet you neither of them like this. Well, I'm sure Orton doesn't like this. I don't know what Bray
this,
thinks about
This
this.
is not good for either guy.
Does it feel like they've dug a hole and they just can't get out of it now? They're digging deeper.
It almost feels that way.
They're like, oh, damn, what did we do? Well, there's no way out now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, it's true. Like, I mean, it kind of feels like, we went so far, but to just kind of halt it, it kind of just almost, negates everying previous.
Burning down the shed was one thing. It was goofy, but it was different. You'll admit that, right?
Yeah.
It was different. I've said this before. I liked Orton's passion in the pre-taped vignette or whatever you want to segment. It's a segment. It was interesting, but they should have turned it more on the realism side. I want revenge, blah blah blah. That's it. But they've gone so fantastical on this. It's ridiculous. From WrestleMania maggots and flies on the ring apron to these absurd vignettes on every Raw with Bray Wyatt, and then the confusion between the fact that Bray is in different storylines that we'll discuss on Raw that have nothing to do with Orton. Like the crossing overs
well,
like that.
it makes it really confusing. Like,
Yeah.
and
And KO is kind of doing that too.
Yeah, same kind of thing. Like, you've got KO, like, you've got these number one contenders being built up.
Right.
He's involved in these, in these number one contenders matches, right?
Yeah.
But he's still fighting Chris Jericho at the pay-per-view. It's so strange. And then you've got this other thing here with Randy Orton and Wyatt, where they're not even on the same show yet. And then you've got Bray Wyatt yakking, and then you've got Randy Orton kind of trying to interact with that. But then he's also got Jinder Mahal on his behind as well. It's just such a weird dynamic.
So is Payback a Raw or SmackDown pay-per-view?
It's a Raw.
Okay.
So listen to this.
So Orton's on it.
Orton is on it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's something interesting which I didn't actually know up until this week. So you've got the Raw pay-per-view, which is Payback.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, you've got the SmackDown pay-per-view, Backlash. They're doing both Payback and Backlash.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew they were doing Backlash. I just didn't know it was 2 weeks after.
It's not long after. I don't exactly know when
Oh,
it
okay.
is, but it's not
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, they're doing both.
Weird.
They're doing both.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, then immediately after, I guess it'll be sometime in May. So immediately after Payback, then they're just jump starting right into the Orton Mahal feud, because they're going to be fighting
Right.
at Backlash, and then you'll jump right into KO and AJ Styles, because they're going to be fighting at
I think
Backlash
Mahal's
as
going to
well.
win the belt.
I hear things. I don't know.
Remember the India thing, right?
It's true. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think Jinder Mahal is really ready for the belt, because he's gone from, complete jobber
I know.
to now being number one contender in the period of like 3 weeks.
That's really bad for Orton, though, of letting Mahal beat him.
But here's the thing.
It's like Jericho.
Randy Orton as champion right now
Yeah.
does nothing for the belt.
Well, no, it does nothing for the belt because he's been there, done that, right?
Yeah, and like he doesn't even really need the belt.
Right.
Like right at this point, I feel like neither the belt is being elevated by Orton having it, and Orton is not being elevated by having the belt.
It's the same thing with Lesnar. Brock Lesnar does not need the world title around his waist. That means nothing.
I don't know. I feel different about Brock Lesnar though.
Well, first of all, you're not going to see that belt for a very long time.
No, you won't see it for a while. I
And
wonder when we'd even see it next. SummerSlam?
I don't know.
I don't even know when it would be defended next.
The other belts are being used as because he has that one with him. It's so he's Raw. So they have Intercontinental Championship
The
now.
IC
So it's
belt,
all
yeah.
about the IC belt
Yeah,
now
yeah.
because that thing's out of it's gone.
Yeah, but in a way that's kind of interesting, because since there is no world title technically on Raw,
Right.
being like actively used,
30 days.
it allows them. Well,
Tyler's rolling around right now.
yeah, he's crying,
Yeah.
but it kind of allows them to elevate the IC belt a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, all eyes on that belt.
And the IC belt has historically been, a prestigious title. It's really been made into a joke in recent years.
And Ambrose has that belt, right?
He has that belt right now,
Yeah.
yeah. And him and The Miz are actually doing not a bad little feud right now.
Well, yeah, that's just it. And there's another person that isn't being talked about right now that everyone's focus is on Miz and Ambrose is John Cena. Everyone's forgotten already. It's kind of a good thing. Cena's kind of quietly, disappeared.
Well, he's still SmackDown, though. He won't be part of the IC.
No, that's right. I think what I was kind of going with was the fact that he and Miz were having that storyline,
Oh,
and
okay.
then kind of like you just kind of dropped off that.
Right.
But yeah, he's SmackDown, but Cena's not around right now, right?
No, he's
No,
not.
no.
No. Him and Nikki aren't.
I don't
around
think
at
he'll
all.
be around probably till SummerSlam, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's probably for the best, anyways.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, anyways, House of Horrors match. See what happens.
It's gonna be a horror show.
Oh,
Womp womp womp.
I don't even know. So basically, it sounds like the only championship match outcome reportedly still undecided at the Payback pay-per-view is Bayley and Alexa Bliss.
Go Bliss, go.
So they've got pretty much everything figured out, but they're not quite sure what's going on with Bayley and Alexa Bliss. And I mean, I was a fan of Alexa Bliss on SmackDown. I am even more of an Alexa Bliss fan on Raw.
I didn't know much about her on SmackDown because I've already gone through I don't really watch SmackDown spiel, but she's pretty entertaining, man.
She is entertaining.
She is a firecracker, that little one. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Bliss wins, and if Bayley wins, it better be a heel turn. Dang it, because getting tired of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, exactly. Like Sasha, and they got to pull the trigger on that. I feel like they've all.
Sorry, Bayley. I know Bayley's not turning heel.
Right, yeah.
You knew what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
Sasha turns heel on Bayley.
But I feel they've missed the opportunity. Like now, it's going to be so anticlimactic now.
They've done stuff like that in the past too. Yeah, but
there was such a possibility for there to maybe be a real white hot feud.
Well, like Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
When he came back, he should have been a face, and he wasn't. And then they took too long, and then when they made him face, finally the crowd's like, not interested anymore.
Yeah.
So
And then even the Triple H thing. I mean, Triple H essentially screwed him
Yeah.
out of the Universal title in September,
Yeah.
and he never even started retaliating against Triple H till February?
Oh, and the rumors were like 4 months ahead that he was going to turn on Seth. So when he finally turned on Seth, I was like, yeah, we saw this coming a very long time ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They got to kind of get on the ball there. Got to start. They have to start listening to the RGW podcast.
They need to. This is where all the good stuff is.
That's right. Thank you, CageSideSeats.com. Final rumor of the evening. It's possible no titles will change hands this Sunday at Payback. That's sad, but it happens.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, what you've got, oh my goodness, you've got KO versus Chris Jericho. You know what's going on, what's happening there.
KO's going to win that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see there even being a possibility that he doesn't win that match.
Right.
Then you've got Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is actually non-title now.
Yeah.
Actually not even for the title. We talked about that being a rumor last week.
You know,
that it
they
might
should have made
be.
it title. Orton loses to Wyatt, and then Mahal beats Wyatt. They're both heel.
Yeah, sure, why not?
No, that wouldn't happen. But yeah, no, that's non-title.
Yeah.
And
And
what
then
other
you
titles?
got
And
the Raw
Dean
Women's title.
is Dean fighting on that show?
I don't think so. He hasn't defended the belt. Okay, where's this 30-day rule for Dean Ambrose?
He's exempt.
Totally exempt.
Tyler, where are you, buddy?
And then there's the Raw Tag Team Championship too. There's the Hardy Boys versus
Versus
Sheamus
the
and-
handshakers themselves, Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, it's a Sheamus.
Hmm?
So
Yeah.
it's a Sheamus.
Sheamus?
Yeah, Cesaro and Sheamus.
Is that actually what they're going as?
I don't think so.
That would have been epic if they did.
Or they could be like Shamaro.
Oh God, the European connection.
There you go. They could call themselves the League of Nations again.
Oh God, that would do well.
Sure,
Would do
why not?
well. They can cross over into Impact and get Alberto to reunite with them, and Bad News Barrett, wherever he's working, I'm sure out of some sort of an office space, writing for comic books or something like that.
You mean Stu Bennett?
I got some bad stew for you.
That's Stu.
Sorry, the carrots are old.
The meat's got fuzz on it. All right, and so that ends off our rumors of the week, and now on to our topic of discussion.
Singular, just like last week. Singular.
That's right, just the singular topic.
I'm digging the singular topic of discussion. We can focus more on these things.
Focus
that way.
is good.
Focus is great.
Focus like a laser.
Like a laser. We're not focusing right now. What are we talking about this week, man?
Well, Eric, you and I, we had been talking a little bit about off the air about the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And how awesome
Yep.
things were back then. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. You got your Stone Cold Steve Austin versus your Mr. McMahon. I mean, that was huge.
Oh, yeah.
WrestleMania 14 was massive. You got DX in there. You've got, the rise of Triple H. You've got your Mankind. You've got The Undertaker still really, solidifying himself as just a major player, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I think we look back at the Attitude Era with, as I've said, rose-colored glasses.
I agree.
And we forget that even though there was some great stuff in the Attitude Era, there was a lot of junk.
There was a lot of bad stuff.
There's a lot. Exactly. So what we want to discuss here this week is the not-so-amazing memories of the Attitude Era.
Absolutely, because there were lots of them, but there were some that were really, really bad.
Yeah, there were some really terrible ones here.
So let's start things off with a few here. Let's get our brains working.
Let's jump in the time machine.
Time machine, man. Naked Midian. Do you remember Naked Midian?
I do. So there was the corporate ministry going on.
Yeah.
And I guess it was Midian, was he kind of cast out of the corporate ministry? Or?
Well, he started off as the pig farmers, right? With
oh yeah, if you want to go back that far,
yeah, sure. Well,
that's right, because he was the brother of Henry O'Godwin.
Henry O'Godwin, which was a good gimmick back then.
Yeah.
for its time.
Henry O'Godwin and Phineas I. Godwin.
Yeah, and as a kid, I liked it. Now I probably would hate that gimmick, but for its time, it was very good with the smoking guns and all that jazz. Right. But then he went that switched over to the ministry, right? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So basically, I think they were kind of were floundering. I think they had changed from the hog farmers actually to they were Southern Justice.
Yeah, they had those cool suits on and sunglasses.
They went by their real names. So it was Mark Canterbury and Dennis Knight.
Oh, I didn't know they went by their real names.
Yeah,
they
went by their real names there. And then the Undertaker showed up. They had the Acolytes.
Yeah.
And which would become the APA.
Yeah.
And then they had the Undertaker took Mabel and turned him into Viscera.
Yes.
And then he took Dennis Knight. I think Mark Canterbury, who was Henry O'Godwin, I think he got injured, which is why he couldn't really do it anymore.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so he took Dennis Knight and turned him into Midian.
Yeah.
So they were just basically, the not the lackeys, but they were definitely the
servants.
The servants would probably be a good word of the Undertaker. And
sure.
the Undertaker at this point was playing kind of this, almost this satanic type character.
Yeah, I dug it.
Yeah, it was good. It was well done.
It was well done.
Yeah, it was well done. So yeah, Midian was a loyal servant.
Yeah.
And then there was the corporate ministry where Vince McMahon and his corporation combined with the Ministry of Darkness to turn into the corporate ministry. And I don't exactly know where Naked Midian came in, but he would basically appear in front of the live crowds wearing only a fanny pack, a thong, and a pair of boots.
You go from those storylines to Naked Midian, eh?
Yeah.
What a frowning thought that is.
And he's so pasty, like he was never in the best shape.
No, he wasn't.
Right?
Apparently an amazing chef now. Owns his own chain of restaurants.
Is that right?
Yeah, I hear a very good chef.
Does he cook naked?
Let's hope not.
Hot dogs for supper.
So that was the first one we wanted to mention. Second up, who remembers PMS and Meat?
I wish I didn't, but I do.
Yeah. So PMS consisted of Terry Reynolds, Jacqueline, and Ryan Shamrock.
Yeah, Ryan Shamrock. That was Ken Shamrock's sister.
Okay.
In the storylines, do you remember what PMS stood for?
Was it? Trying to think here. Nope, I can't remember.
It was Pretty Mean Sisters.
Pretty Mean Sisters. Oh, and so what them amongst other things, they I guess they faked a pregnancy. That was Reynolds that did that. Mm-hmm. They went around doing things with other men per se, and berating them, and at one point got themselves a love slave whom they called Meat, also known as the Sean Stasiak, who was recently on Chael Sonnen's podcast, I must note. Meat would often blame his losses on constantly having to satisfy Terry. Oh boy.
Basically he would be exhausted before the match, right? So he wouldn't be able to perform in the ring. That was the gimmick.
Oh man, so bad, dude. I don't know. Next up, Beaver Cleavage, man.
It's interesting because I don't really remember a whole lot about Beaver Cleavage. I definitely remember some of this.
I hear a lot of references to Beaver Cleavage, but I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, like have you ever heard of the like Leave It to Beaver?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that? So it was kind of like this show in like the 50s or whatever. It was a family. It was very, straight-laced. The Beeve was like the main character,
Right.
And it was just it was kind of like the quote unquote perfect family. So,
Sure.
anyways, the Beaver Cleavage, he was actually played by Headbanger Mosh,
Yeah.
and then Mrs. Cleavage took part in some incestuous vignettes where Beaver would ask Mrs. Cleavage for mother's milk.
It's so gross.
It was not good, and things didn't get any better for Mosh after the Beaver Cleavage gimmick got shelved because he was immediately repackaged as Chaz, just Chaz, which is his real name actually.
Oh,
And then I think his wife was a part of that. But anyways, he ended up being thrust into a feud with PMS and with Meat.
oh man.
So it definitely did not end well for poor Chaz.
Poor Chaz.
Chaz Worthington, I think, was his name, actually.
Sounds almost British.
Does. Sounds like he has a trust fund.
All right, we're leaving some of the best for last, of course. So next up in whole is the Big Boss Man death-related storylines. That's right, not just one thing involving the Boss Man. A few things involving the Boss Man were cringeworthy during the Attitude Era.
Now, I'd forgotten about a couple of these.
Okay, I remembered at least two of them.
Okay.
The first, actually, I think I'd heard of this one as well. This one's bad, me being an animal lover. But during his feud with Al Snow, Bossman was alleged to have killed Al Snow's dog and to have fed it to Al Snow.
I do remember that feud, actually.
Ugh.
And they ended up actually having a match called A Kennel from Hell.
Oh.
And what it was them in a cage, and they were surrounded by dogs. And they wrestled with dogs all around
This
them.
happened?
This actually happened. And what was actually terrible about this match was that all of these dogs being in a ring, in an arena, with, 15,000 screaming fans, is all of these dogs were scared crapless.
Oh.
So they were peeing all over the ring and everything. It
Were
was
they in the ring?
I think they were in the ring. Like in the
Yeesh.
cage.
Oh my god.
It
that would never happen nowadays.
You couldn't
Could you
get away with it.
imagine what would
No,
happen?
you couldn't get away with that.
Oh.
So, anyways, that was junk.
How about Big Boss Man being hung by the Undertaker at WrestleMania 15?
Yeah,
that is hard. That's a hard image to even look at.
I had actually forgotten all about that too.
Yeah, and that is in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I had to look it up. I was like, oh, that's slightly after. Nope, that's still in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, no, that was Ministry of Darkness type days, right? So yeah, that was definitely right in there. Because the Boss Man was part of the corporation.
Right.
And the Undertaker, of course, was the leader of the Ministry of Darkness.
Okay.
And then it was after WrestleMania where they kind of came together and they had like the higher power.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty ridiculous, actually. You had this higher power.
It was me, Austin.
It was me all along, Austin.
It's the best.
He takes the hood off. There's McMahon just looking like a complete creep.
He's the best.
Oh, yeah. See,
I can't remember. Was that predictable?
I don't.
They did a good job, eh?
They did. Well, it was one of those things where you're like, who is this going to be? Who's this higher power going to be? And then when
Hornswoggle.
Wow. Could have been. But then, and then once it's McMahon, you're kind of like, oh, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
But, anyways. And then what's the last awesome thing here involving the Boss Man during the Attitude Era?
So, the 1999 feud with the Big Show.
This is the one I remembered.
Yeah, so at one point, Big Show dropped a garbage dumpster onto Big Boss Man's automobile. A move which Big Show himself acknowledged could have easily have killed Boss Man. It's more of a fail.
Yeah.
In a vignette that seems almost too horrific to imagine, Big Boss Man surprises the Big Show and his grieving family at the cemetery, because I guess in real life, the Big Show's father had passed away.
Yeah.
Real life, this actually had happened. Now, obviously, the segment itself was rehearsed
It
and
was
acted
staged,
out.
of course, but no. They basically played on the fact that the Big Show just lost his dad.
Yeah, pretty tasteless.
Yeah.
So first, Boss Man delivers a broadcasted eulogy that states, among other things, soon Big Show's father will be eaten by worms, and if I had a son as stupid as you, I'd have wished for cancer so I could die too. Can you? Oh,
Just the worst.
that is like, that's what I've seen this on TV, and it is so hard to listen to. You know, Bossman was a talented guy, but why did he do this stuff?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where I think, you're just...
They were trying to make him so heel.
And it's just and he just went along with it. It's just because it's paid. It's part of his job. He's playing a character. They were good enough to give him a job.
Apparently, he was the nicest man in real life.
I heard that he was one of those guys, I think, that like very similar to like an Owen Hart, or you hear about some other guys where no one really had a bad word to say about him.
He was
Hennig,
very.
same
I
thing.
remember when he died. I read something on that. He was very close with Terry Runnels, and she was absolutely heartbroken.
Oh, that I
Said he
didn't
was
know.
the nicest man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just it's weird to read this stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Like.
This next part I do remember vividly, actually. Boss Man, then what he did is at the funeral, or I guess he was in the cemetery, he connects the casket of Big Show's dad to his police cruiser and drives away with it. And at one point, Big Show jumps onto the casket and is dragged along with it, like down the road. I remember this.
Yeah, this is all over the WWE network with top 10s and things like that.
This is just awful.
Oh, it's brutal. It's just nuts.
And then really as if this we'll call it a simulated act of desecration isn't already pretty cruel, almost too cruel to fathom.
Yeah.
The fact that the Big Show was required to go along with this plot line despite having recently bearing his father's actual passing makes this unimaginably tasteless.
Yeah.
Just tasteless.
Yeah, that it was actually his father passing actually occurred, and then he had to do all this garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute garbage. Like
You hear and see cringeworthy stuff sometimes, but this was just
shame on
beyond.
Vince, shame on the writers, shame on Big Show for going along with it.
Yeah.
I know you want money and stuff, but it's your father, dude.
Yeah.
Say no. Say I'm not comfortable. But I don't think Big Show nowadays would do that. It's just that was the era. That was the time.
era. I mean, it was still, it was in '99. He was still relatively new
Oh, yeah.
in WWE as well,
He was
right?
practically Paul White then, right?
Yeah.
He was called Big Show there though?
I think he was already the Big Show at this point. Cause
Yeah.
I think he was only big nasty Paul White for a few months.
Oh, did he? It was a few months in WWE?
I think so.
Okay. I know when he was introduced, when he threw Austin through the cage.
Yeah.
They said it's Paul White.
That's Paul White.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's Paul White. And he still had his long hair in
Yeah.
in the cemetery scene
That's
or
right.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So it was tied back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Big Show by this point.
I remember. I remember seeing something on the network where I think it was like Table for Three, and Big Show was talking about it, and Big Show was making fun of how he looked at the time. He was wearing leather pants, and Big Show's like, "Yeah, I was wearing leather pants at the time because I guess I thought it was cool." It's very cool.
Yeah, me and Test.
Test.
We both
Test and Albert. Albert, I think, wore leather pants too.
He did. Yeah.
Oh, God.
TNA.
TNA before Impact Wrestling.
Oh.
All right. Next up, the 1998 feud between The Undertaker and Kane. So it's kind of funny. You hear that, it's like, what? Kane and Taker? That's gold. That's what I would have said until I found this online, because I didn't actually remember a lot of this, but yeah, it happened. So number one, Kane was revealed to have suffocated a large dog to death as a child. That's one of the first things they used to build up Kane.
That I don't remember at all.
I don't know if I remember that. It doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all. Not since we just talked about
Jeez,
the Big Show and the Big Boss Man.
Yeah. Vince doesn't like dogs, clearly. The story. The storyline featured a plot line where The Undertaker allegedly killed his parents by setting fire to their family's funeral home. I do remember that. And at one point, Kane and Paul Bearer exhumed The Undertaker's parents and brought them in the casket to the arena.
I actually don't remember this at all. I don't remember this part at all.
Yeah. And then finally, Kane and Paul Bearer broke into a cemetery and desecrated the grave of The Undertaker's parents. Not content to simply vandalize the tombstones, the grave is covered in gasoline and is lit ablaze, much to The Undertaker's horror and countless viewers' disbelief.
I'm shaking my head right now. I just can't believe this.
It's
stuff
so
happened.
disrespectful, man. I can't believe this stuff flew back then.
Well, it was all shock value, hey?
It was.
It was just like, what can we do to get people talking? I guess there's that thing where they say, no publicity is bad publicity.
Sure.
Whether it's positive or negative, at least people are talking.
Controversy makes cash.
Hey,
Mr.
Eric Bischoff. There you go.
Yeah.
But I think that's where they were. They were like, let's just do, if we can, do anything, no matter how outrageous it is.
Right.
And it's gonna get us on the map. It's gonna get people talking. Let's do it, and they certainly did.
They certainly did.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to finish this one off with a bang. Of course, all of our viewers are probably saying, you're missing one. The Katie Vick storyline between Triple H and Kane. And I do want to thank IWNerd.com for assisting me in this, because both James and myself, we didn't remember a lot of details when it came to this whatsoever, eh, James?
I know. I think this was a time where I was kind of, we'll call it, disenchanted with wrestling.
Yeah.
And I I knew that this storyline was going on, and I just thought, this is enough. I just can't watch this. And I didn't really watch much of this particular time period in time.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this was slightly after the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
It was approximately 6 months after. If you want to classify as the WWE logo, or WWF at the time logo, being changed over, then it was 6 months after that had occurred. But it was so close, I just kind of wanted to mention it. Now, we're not going to go into any depth because it's pretty graphic, but basically, all in all, in the end, was it essentially, James, that Kane had was it Kane that accidentally had killed his ex-girlfriend, whether it be on purpose or on accident? I do believe it was on accident. Yeah. And anyways, Triple H on live television ends up crawling into the casket of Katie Vick, and having his way with her. Let's say it that way. It was so graphic and controversial that Triple H the next Raw, he ended up having to go into the ring with a dummy, like a dummy, a mannequin, and essentially kind of admitting, it was a mannequin all along, just to kind of try and smooth things over as part of the storyline. absolutely brutal. Like you always hear that this is probably the number one biggest fail when it came to WWE storylines. I'm sure Triple H to this day is shaking his head, because it just there was tons of complaints from fans about the necrophilia storyline. It was just gross, man.
Another one of those things where you're just like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, like Triple H had put on Kane's mask too when he was doing this.
Right. No, it was just it just sounds like it was just uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah.
Like this was 15 years ago already. Like that's crazy to think that this was 15 years ago.
Yeah, and I remember like I'd seen this a few years ago on YouTube, that segment, and you hear the crowd in the back, they're grossed out. Yeah. They're not cheering or laughing. No, even back then, like people still had some limits, and that was pretty gross.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that's did you manage to gather any other interesting ones throughout that era?
I do have a couple here.
Okay.
That I'd kind of forgotten about. There was there was the Legion of Doom thing going on
with Draws.
With it was Hawk, Animal, and Draws.
Yeah.
And Draws was kind of trying to be, in the Legion of Doom, of course.
Was that LED 2000 or right before?
This was after LOD 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, they had already, like, Sonny was with them when they were LOD 2000. They
Oh.
wore those matte helmets and stuff.
Okay.
So this was actually after that, and Draws was on the scene. And Hawk, he actually had some real life issues.
Right, this is a bad one too.
And so basically, he had some backstage issues apparently, and just kind of going with the thing where they're using real life as part of the story, they pretty much made him into a drunk.
That's exactly what they did with Hall and WCW.
That's right.
Exact same storyline.
So, and what happened was that I don't really remember a whole lot about it, but there was this one part where Hawk was drunk or on something. It's in the story. Apparently, he loved this story. He actually had a lot of fun doing it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, it's so bad.
But it was terrible. He climbed up the top of the Titantron, and then Draws went up and chased him as well. And he looked like he was trying to help Hawk, but then he actually pushed him. But then there was then they were like, "Did he push him? Did he not? Did he fall?" And he fell off the Titantron in the back.
Oh my.
But then they just kind of forgot it ever happened. They never really talked about it again.
Oh.
It was really weird.
Man.
Yeah. I don't really remember the background of this, but Pat Patterson faced Gerald Briscoe in an evening gown match.
Oh yeah.
At one point.
Yeah, that's. Oh, the Stooges.
I don't remember which pay-per-view it was. Here's an interesting thing. Sometimes we talk about how wrestling these days, there's too much talk. Like
Sure.
there's not enough wrestling.
Yeah.
But in 1999, I read this stat online that typically in 1999, the typical Raw only had about 36 minutes of wrestling on it.
Wow.
On a 2-hour show.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Holy segment.
The rest was just segments.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of talking.
Lots of interviews, lots of junk going on.
I'll be honest with you, though. Growing up, my favorite thing about wrestling was the segments.
Yeah.
It was, let's face it, it was the Attitude Era. What was the most interesting stuff? The ridiculousness. Austin doing all of his stuff.
Yeah. I did get bored of the 20-minute Triple H interviews at the very beginning of each Raw, it seemed, which
so he crafted his
15 years later,
still doing it.
20 years later,
yeah,
it's still going on. But
always enjoyed those DX ones where they imitated the Nation of Domination.
That part those ones were funny.
That is, I still laugh my head off when I watch the guy imitate Owen. I am not an aardvark.
Who was that guy? I don't remember his name. Jason Sensation.
Yes, that's exactly. And yeah,
He did a great Owen Hart impression.
And
It was
30
spot on.
other wrestlers.
Yeah.
He's amazing at impersonations.
Yeah, yeah.
Stone Cold, he does an amazing impersonation. Stone Cold ET.
And then the last one I have here, which I totally remember, there was a feud between Val Venus and Kai and Tai. Remember Kai and Tai?
I read this recently.
They were Japanese.
Well, I liked Kai and Tai, but didn't they tie him up or something?
They tied him up, and their manager, his name was Yamaguchi-san. So you had Taka Michinoku, you had Funaki was actually part of this Kai and Tai, and then a couple other guys.
Yeah.
And I think what it was is that
I think it was 3 guys. There was one other guy.
there was plus the manager. Yeah. So it's 3 guys plus the manager. Yamaguchi-san was his name, and he had a wife who was a lot younger than him, and Val Venus apparently knew her.
Yeah.
So they tied him up in the back.
Yeah.
And they were going to chop off his manhood.
Didn't they call it his PP?
He's
They had a funny-
Yamaguchi-san actually said,
Yeah.
"I choppy yo pee."
Oh my god.
That was my impression of Yamaguchi-san.
That was pretty good. Someone saved him though, I think.
I can't remember who, but anyways, that was great. That was a great part of the Attitude Era. And I'm sure there were other things that we're forgetting, but overall the Attitude Era was great. There was some awesome storylines, some pretty good matches, but there was a lot of junk.
I'm still laughing about the evening gown match. Legendary Pat Patterson,
First
guy that
Intercontinental
first
champion.
IC champ, guy that invented the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Throw him in an evening gown.
And Gerald Briscoe, to his credit, is pretty decorated as well. Him and his brother were world tag team champions like multiple times over in the 70s.
Right.
And everything like that. So he's well decorated as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, to have them just become.
But he loved it, Pat Patterson. You will
enjoyed
not
himself.
find a person on this planet that has a higher morale for the WWE than Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
He will say nothing bad. He says, "I love pro wrestling. I love it to this day. It is exciting, and I love the WWE." He just loves it.
Mhm.
Loves it. He
Mhm.
says he's so excited when he walks into that building. So cool.
Good for
he
him.
says, and he loved his past, and he says he even loved being a stooge. He said he had a lot of fun. So
You know, it probably was a lot of fun.
oh, it was funny. It was so funny.
I wonder if he actually enjoyed being referred to as.
A stooge?
No. Do you remember him being referred to as Poop Stain Patterson?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, he was stripped, and he was wearing tighty whiteys,
Oh.
and there was a stain on
they
the
did
back
that
of
on
his
purpose.
on the back of his shorts. It would have been
Yeah.
on purpose for sure, right? But yeah,
Yeah, like those 2 guys even helped Austin when you really look at it. So it was good. It was ridiculous, but it was good. But yeah, a lot of what we've said, my God, it's cringeworthy. Like, yeah. I'm not sure what's the worst, but I don't know. Probably the Boss Man stuff, in my opinion, is the worst. But you know, that's up for debate, James.
I think I have to agree with you. I mean, I guess the Katie Vick stuff was pretty awful. The Undertaker stuff between Undertaker and Kane in '98 was pretty awful as well.
The only thing is with Boss Man though is Big Show's father actually passed away.
Yeah, that's true.
So bad.
Yeah.
But you know what? How about our fans write us in and they let us know what they think?
That would be good.
That would be good. Post it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Let us know, and let us know what your favorite worst memory is of the Attitude Era.
Your
favorite worst. It actually works though.
That's an oxymoron.
What's your favorite worst memory?
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
I like it. Cool. Looking forward to maybe reading some of this stuff.
Yeah, so am I.
Maybe we'll bring back some memories of things that we've tried to bury in ours.
As long as it's, we'll just leave it at that. How about that?
All right, so off to the races here with the review / recap of the April 24th edition of Raw.
2017 edition of Raw.
Raw is war.
Raw is war. So, the commentators on Raw announced that Braun Strowman would be facing Kalisto tonight in a dumpster match. Apparently, I think I'd heard Cole say it has been 17 years since a dumpster match had been on in WWE.
Well, I only know of one.
Yeah, that must be it. Whose is it?
That was at WrestleMania 14. It was
Okay.
It was the New Age Outlaws versus Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie.
That's probably the one he's talking about because it was not on Raw. I believe he had mentioned. I just didn't know. I didn't hear him.
No, I think I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain that it was either at WrestleMania, or it was the next night on Raw after WrestleMania. I don't actually remember for sure, but anyways, that's who it would have been between. Cool. It's the only one I know.
Nice.
Yeah.
So first segment was Chris Jericho's highlight reel / Miz TV / Dean Ambrose's Ambrose Asylum segment. So the commentators noted that the pyro was actually very close to Booker T when Chris Jericho's entrance hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
So they quickly mentioned it, but I think Booker almost got hit.
Ooh.
So they to the point where they said it like. That was close, Booker. Yeah, like it was like, whoa, geez. But you didn't actually see it because of the camera angle.
Yeah.
So I just figured I'd mention that.
Wow.
Because I know Jeff Hardy's been hit many years ago by pyro, etc.
Undertaker too.
Oh yeah, Taker. Yeah. So Jericho once again plugged Southpaw Regional Wrestling, which I know, James, you've been telling me to look up, I believe.
Yeah.
Is this I have a feeling this is just a made up thing Jericho is talking about.
No, it's actually it was on WWE's YouTube channel.
Okay.
So it would be sanctioned by them.
Because he talks about it on his podcast.
Oh yeah. Basically what it is Chris Jericho actually plays. It's like basically it's like they found these videotapes of this wrestling company from the 80s called Southpaw Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Yeah.
And John Cena plays like this announcer from the 80s, and Fandango's there. And
so I was right. It is a joke.
Oh, it's totally a joke.
Oh, okay. That's
you gotta see it.
Okay.
Gallows and Anderson are on it. It's good.
It's not a legitimate organization.
No, it's
okay.
not,
I was starting to figure that out when I was listening to Jericho's podcast, and at first I thought it was legit, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is Jericho changing his voice. It was pretty good actually, but the fact that he continues to mention it, I was like, oh, this is something with Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, moving on. Jericho announced he alone is the guest of Jericho's highlight reel tonight. He calls himself the face of America, is what he says about Kevin Owens. I know, right? A pretty ugly face. He looks like the baby from The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Grumpy Cat. And I caught a little botch here I just wanted to mention. So he does his standard, you know what happens, Kevin Owens, when you're, and you know what happens, Kevin Owens, and then the music for The Miz hits. Mm-hmm. So I guess Miz's music was supposed to hit halfway through his first attempt at that. It didn't happen. So he smiled, almost chuckled, and then kind of looks down, and he does it again, and then Miz's music hits. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to kind of poke fun at that, because things happen, right? And
live TV,
oh, better than non Smackdown live, right?
Sure.
And so Miz is out by now, and what did he say? He says, I couldn't possibly suck. I'm not from Kansas City. And it was just cheap heat, and he got his huge boos from the crowd.
They were booing him, saying he sucks, right? So he's like, I couldn't possibly suck. I'm not from Kansas City.
Yeah. And him and Maurice, they called themselves the it couple, and Jericho did his pause for 30 seconds, and he's like, it couple. The crowd didn't really react much to it.
Waited a little too long. It was a pretty long pause.
It's probably my least favorite thing he does.
The it one?
The it, yeah. And And then the Miz demanded that it turn into the Miz TV segment. So everything got taken out of the ring and got replaced with Miz's standard things. And Jericho looks up and points to his TV and says, "Hey, look, that's my Geratron 6000." And Miz goes, "It's a TV." And Jericho, "Geratron." You always talk about the Geratron.
It's the ridiculously, obscenely expensive Geratron 6000.
I think it used to be the 5000.
I
now
think
it's the
so.
6000.
Yeah, I know. No, I think it was the 5000 originally, and then I can't remember exactly what happened. It probably got broken.
Oh, probably.
Because it's been broken many times. And then they had a number.
The plasma got replaced.
Yeah, exactly.
With an LED. So I enjoyed how Jericho just was chilling, sitting on the chair at this point. He's kind of in a I'm about to leave the company mode. You can definitely read it.
He is enjoying himself, which is good.
Yeah. And by now, Dean Ambrose is out. And Ambrose goes, "Jericho, you're right. Miz is a stupid idiot." And Miz goes, "He never said that." And then Jericho goes, "Oh, I was thinking it. I was going to say it sooner or later."
And Ambrose is like, "Yeah, I knew you were."
And then the segment, as per Dean's request, turned into the Ambrose Asylum. I like that Ambrose acknowledged that both he and Jericho had a checkered past, and all could be healed with forgiveness. And he apologized for destroying one of his old light-up jackets. And Jericho reminded him that he still owes him $15,000.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I liked it that they didn't ignore their past. You know how
yeah.
we were discussing this
Sure.
last week with that kind of thing. So I like that portion
Some
of
continuity is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Ambrose gives Jericho a gift, a new jacket per se with lights on it, a very cheaply made jacket.
One thing I liked is he handed it. He's like, Chris, I got you a gift, and he grabs the gift. And he's like, "Oh, you got me a gift." And then he starts opening. He's like, and he says something to the effect of, "I hope it's better than my last gift," because the last gift was the KO.
He sounded so sad when he said that too, eh?
But it was a good little throwback, right?
It was,
right. And then Corey Graves, he's like, it's Christmas tree lights on a jacket.
Classic.
And then Dean Ambrose hands him the jacket. And he's like, "There's only one thing left for you to do, Chris. Try it on, man."
It was all right.
Yeah, I liked it.
He did a good job of imitating Chris.
Yeah.
And then Miz did no, probably like 500 times. "That thing is hideous." And Miz, "That is the type of quality from that type of Intercontinental Champion. Everyone should be giving me gifts." And Ambrose says that he has a gift for Miz. Then lands dirty deeds on Miz.
That was the gift.
That was the gift. As Jericho walks off with his list, "Hey, Maurice, you know what happens when you're married to the Miz? You know what happens when you're married to a stupid idiot, Maurice?"
You just made the list.
Awesome. And I love how upset Maurice and essentially everyone appears to be when Jericho lets them know.
They're just shocked.
Yeah.
They're just like so offended.
They all do a good job.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, how dare you add me to your list?
How could you do that?
So, did you catch the next one?
I did, yeah. Sheamus and Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy yelled out V1.
Yeah.
Which is old school. Like
a la throwback.
Man, before laying a leg drop on Sheamus there. Hit him with a vicious side effect to Sheamus. I've always really liked that move.
Yeah.
To the side.
Kind of like a rock bottom, more like a bookend, right?
Kind of like a bookend, but he kind of like swings the opposite way.
Oh, right.
So he throws him down.
Pendulum swing
backwards.
backwards.
But pendulum.
A la Baron Corbin?
That's right. Kind of the other way. Almost.
We're all over the place.
Not really.
So it's like The Rock, Booker T, Baron Corbin in one. Oh, and Samoa Joe.
Yeah. So anyways, he hit him with the side effect on the apron. Mm-hmm. I noted that I don't really like the moves on the apron. I find that it's actually pretty overused these days.
It's getting more and more overused.
It like once or twice here and there,
mm-hmm.
it really makes an impact. like not like an impact like, oh man, he hit him hard, but it makes an impact like, and you kind of go, oh.
It's a good thing that ring apron's made out of brass.
That's right. But yeah. So, anyways, lots of delete chants. Matt hits the delete, and then he even in the middle of the ring a couple times he did his own delete. He led the delete. So
he was slamming his head into the turnbuckle,
Yeah.
and all the crowd was like, delete, delete, delete.
yeah. Sheamus actually laid a really stiff Muay Thai like knee into Matt's chin, which sent him to the outside. Yeah, I noted that too. That it really looked like he connected good.
It looked real, but maybe he's just tough as nails. But
Yeah.
boy, I don't know. It just looked like a shoot to her for a second.
Yeah.
Sheamus was distracted with Jeff and Cesaro arguing outside the ring. Matt managed to land the twist of fate onto Sheamus and got the win.
Jeff actually jumped up on the apron, and had kind of distracted Sheamus a little bit too, which was kind of weird. But yeah, exactly. It caused that momentary distraction, and hit the twist of fate and got the win for sure.
Wasn't my favorite match. Both of these guys seemed a little slow and clunky. I think Matt's got a little bit of work to do wrestling. I don't know what to say. I'm not sure. He just was a little clunky. Wasn't as smooth as I'd like to see him. Sheamus was kind of slow too. I don't know. Match is all right.
Yeah.
Maybe I just like seeing them, Matt and Jeff, in a tag team as opposed to singles competition.
Right.
No, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But and then again, the match ended with them hesitatingly shaking hands.
What's interesting about this one is last week Sheamus was the one that was really hesitating.
Yep.
And Cesaro was kind of like saying, "Hey man, these are legends," just kind of fawning over Jeff and Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
This week, especially after Jeff had kind of interfered, Cesaro was hot. He
pissed.
was mad.
Yeah.
And he didn't want any part of shaking hands, but Cesaro got there. And he's like, "No, we're shaking hands." And the four of them shook hands, and it was a very nice moment. So yeah, I mean that could be a pretty good match actually at Payback.
Yeah, I hope so, right? So
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Sure, sounds good.
All right. Next up was the Kurt Angle, Miz, and Maurice segment backstage. So Angle is interrupted on the phone by Miz and Maurice, who were complaining about waiting outside his office for a whole 2 minutes, and for what happened to them earlier on in the evening.
Such divas.
Oh yeah, but they did a good job of it. Angle said they resolved their issues in the ring, so he would need to find a partner tonight, as he'd be facing both Jericho and Ambrose in a tag team match. And as Maurice walks off, she states to Angle in French, "You have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what you're saying."
Is that what she said?
Yeah, I picked it up.
Oh no, I don't speak French, so.
Yeah, what did she say? Tu ne sais pas qu'est-ce que tu fais, et tu ne sais pas qu'est-ce que tu dis. That's what she had said.
You say so.
Yeah, I remember. I just converted it for our fans, so yeah. And Angle said, "Well, right back at you." And he does that FU finger slide under the chin. I don't even know what they call that.
I don't know.
It's like an old school middle finger.
Yeah.
Remember when The Rock used to do that old school? It's when you your forearm, you hit your forearm into your crook of your elbow.
Oh yeah.
That's another.
Scott Steiner used to do that too.
That's another old school middle finger.
Steiner would do that, and then he'd like spin his forearm.
Yeah.
As well, like to really get it up there. It means like up your butt, kind of. That's what it pretty much means.
Okay.
Yeah. Next up here we had our boy Neville and T.J. Perkins versus Jack Gallagher and Austin Aries. There are a couple of cool moves on here. I like how Neville teases, but he refused to climb the turnbuckle when he first enters the ring when the music is playing. Right? Because he's heel. He's not giving the crowd what they want.
That's amazing. Don't be the cool heel.
No, he's just a straight up heel. It's great.
He knows how to do it.
Yep. Gallagher and Aries, they ran into the ring and they got things started between all four of them.
That was nice.
I noted one cool move. It was actually a neck breaker between the ropes.
Okay.
That I think it was Aries on Gallagher, perhaps. I can't remember exactly who he did it to, but anyways, he kind of put him in between the top and middle rope, and hit him with like a neck breaker, like on the middle rope.
Okay.
Anyways, it was kind of cool.
Nice.
And then, basically Aries and Gallagher end up winning the match. Aries lands the discus 5-arm to Perkins for the win.
Yeah, so I remember we were discussing this a few episodes back. It was either you or Tyler was questioning the 5-arm thing. And basically Corey Graves explained what's better than a 4-arm, a 5-arm. I'm like, of course, that's why he calls it that. Yeah. So, no, it was a fast-paced, entertaining match. The crowd really wasn't popping for any of Austin's bigger moves, I noticed. I don't know why. Maybe it was just they were having one of those kind of nights. I don't know. I'm still a much bigger Neville fan than an Austin Aries fan.
Yeah.
Austin Aries I seem to actually, I'm more entertained by his comedic side with, the banana eating or some of the funny comments he makes. But, who knows?
Yeah.
He's still got some talent to him, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, he's a talented guy for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, next up, Braun Strowman versus Kalisto in a dumpster match. So, you know what? This was actually a pretty good, entertaining match. Yeah, for what it was.
When I heard it was a dumpster match, I'm like, oh my goodness, seriously?
I know. That's why I marked at the start of the episode. I'm like, did you just say a dumpster match?
Yeah.
So Braun had some nice heat at the start. I consider each and every one of you in this arena trash.
What it kind of reminded me of, because the crowd kind of booed, but at the same time they like Strowman, right? Oh, yeah. It reminded me of like The Simpsons, where he's like you people are terrible, and he's like, he's right. Give us hell, Quimby.
Give us hell, Quimby.
So basically, Kurt Angle, he was trying to advise against Kalisto going against Braun Strowman in this match, right?
Yeah.
And Kalisto basically said no, to be a lucha is to fight. And he basically says, I got to fight for my respect.
Yeah. And
he walked away. And Angle kind of gave a little smirk in respect.
Yeah,
like, hey,
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed by that.
Yep.
Yeah, Cole, like you mentioned earlier, that it's been 17 years since we've seen a dumpster match.
Yeah.
Strowman caught Kalisto head first in midair and then threw him like a javelin.
That was crazy. That was so impressive. I rewound it. I showed Alana, my wife, and she was like, what? It's insane, how powerful Braun Strowman is and how small Kalisto is, that he could do that.
Yeah.
Kalisto did not help him at all with that throw.
No.
I liked the look of Strowman's face after, because Kalisto kicked him in the shins, right? Mm-hmm. Resulting in him falling into the dumpster.
Yeah.
And good on Strowman. Like, what his reaction of his face, it reminded me of Triple H when he accidentally hit Steph into the table at Mania. Good acting on his part.
Yeah, because he fell in and he was like, you are not serious.
It was great. He just stood there in awe.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
He was just shocked. Yeah. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, it lets it sink in with the fans, and you could hear the fans, oh.
Yeah. And that was good for Kalisto, too. Like, that was a good moment for him.
It is. And, this is probably the match that leads to Kalisto being off air for a while, and then naturally probably 205 Live, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to send him off. Raw, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that's probably where they're going with it.
It seems like a good connector.
Yeah. But yeah, so Strowman then hits an enormous choke slam, more like a chest slam into the mat. Hey,
yeah, he grabbed his rib, like his chest, as if his hand was a suction cup.
Yeah,
picks him up and slams him down. I don't even know how he did that.
No, I wrote here that Kalisto was actually killed at this point. I think he died.
Oh God! Yeah. Was Big Boss Man somehow involved in this? Oh, too soon.
And then and then you get the crowd doing the "We want Roman, Roman sucks,"
Yes.
going back and forth.
Yes. And I hate how stereotypical it is. The "We Want Romans," let's face it, it was a female voice in the back. And then the "Roman sucks" were the male voices in the back. I'm like, come on.
It was like three ladies. We want Roman. Roman sucks. We want Roman.
And I went to my wife and I said, you would have been the one saying "Roman sucks," right? And she looks at me, sure. She may be one of those that likes Mr. Roman Reigns. And basically after destroying Kalisto, he throws Kalisto in the dumpster, locks it shut with tie straps, and wheels it up the ramp. It was pretty obvious at this stage what he was going to do. And then he kind of teases that he's leaving, and he runs out and pushes the dumpster off the, I'd like to note, 1.5 foot drop off the ramp.
I had originally written 1 foot, and then I saw it again, and I was like, no, that's probably 2 feet. But
it wasn't much. The dumpster didn't even flip over.
It was so anticlimactic. It's like, oh my goodness, Kalisto! He pushes them. It's like, ka-dunk.
It's so
oh man,
you kind of like the air being left out of the balloon.
Oh, pretty much, exactly. So, but anyways, it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. You know, Strowman's pulling out the entertaining matches. Hey, is Kalisto? Does he have a new entrance tune?
You know what? I don't remember.
It's a little darker, a little less poppy.
Yeah. Well, his even his ring attire has been darker. Like the ring attire he wore this past week was quite dark.
I liked it. It was a little more serious, a la Rey Mysterio, as opposed to, he looked kind of like Ultimo Dragon, before.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Looked a lot like Ultimo Dragon.
More classic lucha
Right.
look from the 80s and 90s or whatever.
Yeah. And then basically. Kalisto, I wrote here as well. He gets taken away on a stretcher.
Yeah.
The announced team, they've got those serious voices going on.
I thought Strowman was going to do more things to him,
right?
Just like he did to Roman when he was on the stretcher.
Well, I guess he would have had to like unlatch the winch.
Oh my goodness. That'd be hilarious if the ambulance takes off with him in there and it turns out it's the same ambulance as last week.
Right. And
they forgot to disconnect the hook. It pulls off the side.
Oh, you know what's been really terrible is the ambulance doesn't show up, but a garbage truck does.
Oh.
Gotta take the dumpster.
Oh, too soon. Eric Bischoff still in the back of it.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Talk about connecting stories, eh?
Woo!
John Cena is the one that throws Kalisto in. Sorry, I'm just really good at this. All right.
So after this, we had a Roman Reigns vignette. This thing was like so long.
It was long.
It had to have been like between 4 and 5 minutes long. It
was
went
basically
on and
just
on.
I love Roman shoving down your throat
Right.
stuff. It is what it is.
There's not much else to say.
Yeah. It sucked. Next up was the Bray Wyatt.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'll tell you how I really feel by explaining this one. The Bray Wyatt House of Horrors vignette was right after that, and I wrote one word with an exclamation mark: garbage. It sucked. It was just like last week's. It was horrible. It was actually worse than the Roman Reigns vignette.
And the thing about it is that you're still left not even having an inkling as to what this House of Horrors match is.
Could you imagine if this House of Horrors ends up being amazing? Imagine it's just like terrifically good. It's like, what? Why is this good?
I actually can't.
I can't
imagine
either.
It's going to be awful.
Maybe it'll be like 3 stages of hell.
3 stages of hell?
Was that Triple H in Austin?
It was.
Yeah. And what's the one in WCW where there was literally 3 physical cages on top of each other?
Oh, I don't remember what that was called.
Yeah, that was just absurd.
Yeah.
3 stages of hell was great. All right. Speaking of great, the next match was not. Dana Brooke versus Alicia Fox.
It looked bad, so I didn't actually watch it.
Or should I say Vivica A. Fox?
No, you
What did I
said
say, Victoria Fox?
Victoria Fox. Maybe you were going with Vivica A. Fox.
I think that's where I was screwed up. I don't know. It's a mystery to this day. So Dana Brooke ended up winning with a modified version of the Michinoku driver.
I think if she didn't botch the move,
It was horrible.
it might have looked cool. Like I've seen this move before. She basically had
Okay.
her in a fireman's carry.
Yeah,
The Michinoku driver essentially was just like a body slam, and
but Taka would drive the head on the mat. Well, it's supposed to look that way.
correct. But he just basically, it was almost like a scoop slam
Sure.
into the drive to the head, right? But this was actually, she had Alicia Fox up on her shoulders,
Yeah.
and then kind of jumped, and then I guess what was supposed to happen is that she was supposed to land smoothly on her, kind of like her neck and back area, but it was sloppy.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. She won the match. Yeah, not a whole lot to say. Emma then came in the ring, pretending that she wasn't impressed, but then ends up hugging Brooke.
Yeah, like she kind of looked impressed, and Dana was confused, and then she goes and she hugs her
Mhm.
like she's her sister, like a
Yeah.
big warm hug, and Dana looks all awkward, like what is going on?
Yeah.
And then she just walks away.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, Emma? James and I actually enjoyed your return, and now you're kind of being involved in this horrible junk. I don't know. The whole thing couldn't have been longer than 3 minutes, and it was just pure and utter garbage.
One thing I noted is that, I don't know if you really noticed, but I think Dana Brooke had her lips done. Her lips look a lot.
They look puffy.
They're very puffy.
Yeah, she looks weird. I don't know.
Yeah. So next we've got Charlie Caruso in the back there with Samoa Joe, Gallows, and Anderson. One thing I noticed, Samoa Joe, he's got a new T-shirt. Looks awesome. I think I have to get it.
You go right ahead. What does that shirt say?
I don't remember what it says actually. It just says Samoa Joe, and it says submission something.
I am Samoa Joe.
Anyways, it looks cool.
You would buy it if it just said I am Samoa Joe.
So basically Samoa Joe and the club, they're going to be facing Rollins, Enzo, and Big Cass.
Yep. Tonight.
Samoa Joe says they're going to strike first. And the club, one thing I like, the club said that we've known Good Brother Joe for a long time. And then they go and they call Enzo and Cass nerds.
Yeah, I like how they're using that.
Yeah, just a couple of nerds.
Do they know him from Ring of Honor?
Samoa Joe?
Yeah.
I don't know if Gallows and Anderson were ever in Ring of Honor.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know that they both spent a lot of time in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, that could be. Well, they were. Yeah.
They must have wrestled together at one point,
Mhm.
possibly Ring of Honor, possibly in the Indies. Because I don't think Joe was ever in New Japan. So
Okay. Yeah.
Hard to
Basically,
say.
the segment was kind of old school. I noticed one at a time. Each
Yeah.
guy got to say their own little jab, their thing.
I liked it.
You liked it? Okay.
I thought it was a good segment actually. And then they basically, yeah, like we said, they called Enzo and Cass nerds and said, just like Kalisto, the only thing coming out of their mouth is garbage.
Gallows is the one that always says that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
He always has a hook from a non-related storyline.
Yeah.
So, so I guess that leads up to the actual match itself
Yep.
between Joe Anderson Gallows versus Cass, Enzo, and Seth Rollins.
Yep.
So Enzo and Cass attacked early while they're doing their thing on the microphone, Enzo and Cass, which was nice. That means we didn't need to hear Enzo too much, right?
Yeah.
Angle announced that because Enzo couldn't compete, his replacement would be Finn Boring Balor.
It's his new nickname.
Finn Boring Balor. So Corey Graves, this team just got a major upgrade. Stupid Enzo. Angle slaps Finn Balor on the ass before leaving the ramp.
I must have missed that. I didn't see that part.
Alana saw it too, and it was really weird and uncomfortable. Like, what is this, football?
Go get him, Tiger.
Smells his hand as he walks
Oh.
away.
Oh. Did we need to go there?
Yes.
Now, actually, one thing I noted here is that these guys have all fought each other a lot, except for Big Cass, Finn Balor, and Samoa Joe. They fought each other a lot in NXT.
Okay.
Gallows and Anderson, and Finn Balor. They were all part of the Bullet Club. Because Finn Balor was actually the original.
Yeah, of course they were
leader of the Bullet Club. As Prince Devitt.
Yeah.
So they were super involved there. And then Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, of course, there's history there as well. Not a whole heck of a lot of history, but there's some there too. So a lot of
turnbuckle worth of history.
Yes, correct. But anyways, lots of connections. I thought it was pretty cool. Announcers, they called Rollins the King Killer.
Yep.
One thing I noticed here is now I know that you were saying that this match really demonstrated how much more exciting Seth Rollins is over Finn Balor.
I very much feel that.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I was actually noting how awful Balor's punches look.
Yeah.
Like, they just look so weak.
He's very slow. He's very boring. He has no personality. I was very much paying attention to it because you and I have been discussing this lately. So I'm going to really watch Balor. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. All the other guys were more entertaining than Balor. And then I wasn't even ready for this.
Yeah.
Seth gets tagged in. You can call him similar style wrestler to Finn. Holy man. You go from a level 4 out of 10 to a level 8 out of 10. Seth was running around the ring. He's had way more energy, way more focus. Everything he was doing, he was putting way more into it. Even his facial expressions were better. Finn Balor, I'm sorry to say this, he looks half asleep, and he does look stoned. His mouth is open. He looks like he's on something. I don't know what it is. It's probably just his look, but I'm sorry. Just work on that, buddy. But Seth, man, I'm a Seth Rollins fan, but compared to Finn, the guy's just way above and beyond him. That's just me. I'm sure some people will disagree, because I know there's a lot of Finn Balor fans out there. I just don't actually understand why. I really don't know why. I don't know if it's because he's a littler guy and a lot of people like rooting for the underdog, Daniel Bryan. But once again, we talked about this last week. Daniel Bryan's way more exciting than Finn Balor ever was.
Yeah, no, Daniel Bryan showed a whole bunch of personality when he was paired with Kane.
And on the
That's
microphone.
What got him over.
He's good on the mic.
Oh yeah. Well, he's always been good on the mic.
Yeah.
But Finn Balor, I find, is quite dull on the mic as well.
That's gonna catch up to him, man. Like, I don't know. The crowd may just love the fact that he was in the Bullet Club. Let's face it, that's probably what it is. But if he's not entertaining, they're going to forget about that, and then they're going to realize, oh, this is just kind of boring.
Well, the whole thing about the Bullet Club is there are a lot of people that know about the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
But there are tons that have no idea what that even is. Like, you'd probably like a fifth of the people. If I had to guess, I'd probably say like a fifth of the people know who the Bullet Club are.
Well, I know who they are.
Altogether.
I've never seen anything of them because I don't watch New Japan.
Exactly.
So,
but one thing I noted here too, Booker T, actually Balor's getting beat up, and Booker T says Balor is the replacement guy, and he's not making much of a difference.
Oh, I missed that. Wow. He said that, eh?
Yeah.
Oh boy, good. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wonder about these comments if they're, I don't know, if they're just kind of going with it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think of this match overall?
I thought it was okay. Seth actually ends up was going for the pedigree on Anderson.
Yeah.
To finish the match. Actually decided against it and ends up doing some sort of weird high knee to the face. He kind of like grabbed his arm, spun him around and as he spun towards him, he kind of jumped and hit him with the knee.
Is this that mystery move that he was going to demonstrate?
I was wondering the same thing. One thing I noted is that the fans weren't really sure what to do with that one.
Well, it wasn't really climactic. It wasn't that amazing.
No, it was kind of like he was going for the pedigree, and the crowd was kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
and then he decides against it,
Yeah.
and then he spins him around, hits him with his knee, and the crowd is like, huh?
I know, and not to mention he broke John Cena's nose in the past with a knee.
Yeah.
So it's like, so is that your move? That the knee to the nose? Is that what you're doing now? But I got the first part of it. He didn't do the pedigree, as in, I don't need this. I'm
Right.
done with this
Yeah.
now. But then he does that. It's like, that's the move.
Yeah.
That's your move. I don't know, but
I don't know.
It was
an okay match.
an okay match.
It's probably, it could have been better.
Sure.
I was digging Gallows and Anderson the whole evening, like in the backstage interview there, and then in
Okay.
this match, I was behind them for sure.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, next up was Miz failing to ask Sheamus and Cesaro backstage to team up with him. That was a quick little segment.
Yeah.
Just, again, he's just going around asking people.
Trying to find anybody you can, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and that led on to so the Alexa Bliss segment. This was pretty good, at least from the Alexa Bliss perspective. It was pretty entertaining. Eh?
Yeah, I agree.
So she calls out Bayley about her stupid childhood dreams.
She said she was like she goes, oh, excuse me, oh, I almost vomited in my mouth talking about childhood dreams.
Oh, jeez.
It was good, and the crowd was just giving her what chance, hey, when she was starting to talk.
Yeah, Austin,
Yeah.
what chance? And then Bliss goes, really? We're going to do that? Alexa Bliss is the best. Say what?
And they all say what, and then they just shut right down after that.
Did good.
She handled
She
that.
handled it
I don't
amazingly.
think she could have done it any better.
She looked very confident. She didn't look flustered at
nope,
all.
not at all.
Like, she didn't even look mad at the crowd to a degree. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Bayley came out and once again did her terrible mic work, trying to defend herself. I almost have anxiety when she comes out because she is the worst mic talker I may have ever seen in the history of the WWE.
I am actually so down on Bayley that I don't even care anymore that she wears the belt.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Because you know how much I love when people wear the belts.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Holy, yeah, Bayley is just horrible on the mic. She might as well just become a wrestler that doesn't talk because it's just, she makes Roman Reigns look like a god on the microphone.
She should go back in time, grab Kane's voice box thing. My name is Bayley. I am the Raw Women's Champion. I love my dad.
My dad got burned in a house.
While
And-
we were watching WrestleMania.
I jumped on his casket, got pulled by Big Boss Man.
May he rest in peace.
Too soon.
Man. But yeah, Alexa just slaughtered her.
Oh yeah, it was
Called
great.
Bayley a pathetic, sheltered child.
Alexa asked if Bayley had ever kissed a boy.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Bayley. I don't mean to embarrass you, as I'm pretty sure we know the answer to that one.
One thing I thought was really funny that she said was because Bayley was saying, I'm going to win, I'm going to be in my hometown. And Alexa says, so we're going to be in your hometown. Does that mean that your dad will be there? And I'm going to beat you in front of your own father?
Yeah, oof.
She's like, it's going to be great. And then that's when she was calling her just a pathetic, sheltered little child. Another thing that I noted here, which I thought was a really great line.
Yeah.
And it was rehearsed, but it came out so naturally.
Yeah.
She said that on Sunday, this Cinderella story will be over. The clock will strike midnight, and she's going to break that glass slipper and take the Raw Women's Championship.
Ooh,
I was just like,
very fluid.
that was so fluid. She's great.
Yeah, she's very talented.
Yep. And then, yay, who comes out?
Your best, most favoritist wrestler
Oh, my
in the whole
bestie.
entireest planet.
The boss, Sasha Banks.
Oh yeah.
And Alexa, she's like, I get it. part 3000 of this sideshow.
I love how she who was the other wrestler that was saying what's on her mind? Oh, Corey Graves, right?
Yeah.
Wrestlers that say what's on the RGW podcast.
Yeah, I
by
know.
Alexa Bliss.
She says, so does Sasha put little love letters in your lunch when she packs it for you?
Oh, man.
Just ripping her.
Yeah, man.
It was good.
It was good. I loved it. I loved it. It's just so fluid. Like, she just, it takes nothing to do it.
Yeah. And then I guess they, I didn't hear this previously, but I guess Sasha, I don't know if they had announced this previously, but Sasha versus Alexa Bliss, I guess, was the match that was coming up. But Alexa was basically saying she doesn't feel comfortable wrestling Sasha because I think she's unhinged and she doesn't feel safe, so she tried to leave the ring.
Yeah, so Sasha Banks punches her right in the face, sending her outside of the ring.
And that starts the match, apparently.
Yeah, it's apparently all it starts. So,
yeah.
I liked how aggressive Alexa Bliss was in the match. I gotta say, she starts off as the underdog because she's got punched in the face, but she's the one that's kicking Sasha Banks' butt right at the start, and I also enjoyed Alexa Bliss's heel-like facial expressions. Really good actress, I find.
Mm-hmm.
And then her walking away from the match was a perfect heel tactic.
You don't see that enough.
No, it was good. And Bailey's like, you can hear Bailey, what? She's walking out. And then Bailey tries to drag Alexa Bliss back to the ring. Alexa escapes, runs to the back. Then when Bailey turns around, she comes back out and she attacks Bailey. It was actually kind of awkward, and it really made Bailey look like an idiot.
It did make Bailey look like an idiot. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it made her look like an idiot.
But because then she kind of like chases her to the back and then turns around and she's like, yeah, she ran away.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
And then Alexa just comes and just like nails her in the back.
She ran away. Chase her to the back, wimp. She's such a corny wimp.
Yeah, it's just Bailey is just not working. And there are obviously Bailey fans, but it's just not working. And then Sasha chases Alexa, and Alexa this time actually ran away.
Wait, sorry. Oh, Alexa. Yeah, Alexa.
Yeah, Sasha ran up the ramp and tried to was trying to get Alexa, but she finally ran away, and we didn't see her again. But.
Fail, Bailey. You know what happens, Bailey, when you fail on the RGW podcast? You know what happens? We conclude something. That it's the burial of Bailey.
The burial of Bailey.
Till next week when we bury someone else. we may do a weekly burial.
Sounds like not a bad idea.
Sounds like a good idea, yeah.
It'll be Bailey every week.
Bailey and Sami Zayn.
Although Sami Zayn's on Smackdown now, so we can only really bury him.
That's your part. That's your responsibility.
If we do a Smackdown rush.
That's right. And we do Smackdown rushes every week.
We sure do. Same Smack time, same Smack channel.
That's right.
All right. So after that was Jericho and Ambrose. They had a segment backstage. Like you had mentioned earlier, I like how Ambrose continues to bring up their past.
Yep.
Basically says, hey, can't we just let bygones be bygones?
Ambrose asked to be removed from Chris Jericho's list.
Yeah, and Jericho says, nobody gets taken off the list.
But, Jericho reminded him about being powerbombed into a pile of thumbtacks in the Ambrose Asylum match. And as I'd mentioned earlier, the jacket that Ambrose had destroyed that costed apparently $15,000 to make. But in the end, you know what happens, Ambrose, when you get Chris Jericho a new light-up jacket from Paris? You know what happens when you get Chris Jericho a peace offering before their tag team match on Raw? You know what happens?
You just unmade the list!
Thank you.
And then, Ambrose gets all excited, and he gives him 3 jovial jabs to the arm of an increasingly annoyed Chris Jericho. And then after Ambrose leaves, Jericho re-adds him to the list.
So if Jericho re-adds him to the list, and Ambrose was still there, what would Jericho say to Ambrose?
You just made the list!
Thank you.
Again!
Again! Again! Right on. All right, next up, Michael Cole announces that the Payback kickoff show will compose of excellent things, including Enzo and Cass versus Gallows and Anderson, and Miz TV with guest Finn Balor. What?
Sounds like an episode of Raw.
Sure sounds like a Raw, maybe worse to me.
This sounds like a fast lane match.
Why do they do this, man?
I don't know.
Why do they throw this crap on pay-per-views?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested in that Miz thing, although it may be entertaining because Miz has kind of been on fire lately. But that match, how many times have we seen Gallows and Anderson versus Enzo and Cass?
Yeah.
Why didn't they put Enzo and Cass on SmackDown to mix things up? Why didn't they shake it up, man?
Yeah.
Shake it up, man!
Shake it up.
And do the rock around?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, that leads us on to the Marine 5 interview segment.
Yeah, Charlie Caruso's there.
Yeah.
It was somewhat entertaining. Like, The Miz was there. He's trying to get Heath Slater or Curtis Axel.
His fellow actors.
Or Rhino, his fellow actors, to be part of...
Oh, Rhino was on there.
Rhino was... I don't know if he was in the match or in the movie.
No, he's not in the movie.
No. But he was there. He was backstage. Eating crackers again.
Crackers
like his new
and
thing.
cheese. Crackers and canned cheese. Spray cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, like the 80s, man.
I like how he offered he offered Maurice a cracker, and she's like, "No, I don't want a cracker."
She just kicks it back, like she swats it back, and it just flies everywhere.
Yeah.
And Rhino does this pouty face and walks away.
A Rhino, man.
And when Miz realizes that no one wants to assist him in his match, essentially Curtis Axel was like, well, I don't want to do it, you do it. And Miz goes, you'll never work in this town again. Axel, you mean this city? It was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining.
Got to use the mid-carders to assist in this segment. Speaking of mid-carders, Kurt Hawkins is barely a mid-carder versus Apollo Crews. James, what did you think of this blockbuster of a match?
I didn't really watch much of it.
I don't blame you. Yeah, Graves says that Crews has all the tools but smiles way too much. I agree.
Our friend refers to Apollo Crews as Happy Ahmed Johnson.
Happy Ahmed Johnson.
But seriously, when Apollo Crews came down, like his music hit and he's running around, if you watch the crowd, they have their hands under their butts. They're just sitting on their hands. Nobody cares.
And those that don't have their hands under their butts have their hands under their iPhones or Android devices.
No, they're just
playing games on their phone.
There's another guy that unfortunately is just not working out.
He's got to be repackaged in the future. He's done.
Yeah. I didn't actually watch the match itself. I'm going to presume that...
Basically the commentators were more or less just discussing how what he needs to do in order to advance. So you could kind of get the feel that they're trying to figure him out as well.
Yeah. And
they don't know what to say. Crews, of course, won with a spin-out power bomb, which is kind of a neat move.
That's cool.
And he seems to be affiliated with Titus. As Titus came out, they took a selfie together with Crews, grimace on Crews's face and Titus smiling. But it was dumb, and then Crews was all excited that he was part of his business thing. So that was that. Michael Cole announces that Kalisto has suffered hip and cervical trauma. Boy, oh boy, there's a lot of damaging effects on Raw the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, poor Kalisto.
Mr. Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Next up was Roman Reigns speaking out about his brother's passing and his plans for WWE Payback. It says that, that speaks for itself. He talked about that he was heartbroken about Rosie's passing,
Sure.
which sucks enormously. And then he blah, 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 I'm going to kick Braun Strowman's butt at Payback. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman storyline recap. So I thought this was going to be utter garbage, just like the vignette with Roman Reigns at the start. It was really good.
It was well done.
The music they use, how aggressive they made both guys face each other, and they had to go back 3 months to make this segment happen. Because it's been checkered in regards to every time they face each other, then they have a big pause, and then they'll face each other and then pause. And WWE doesn't usually like doing that, going back many months. They usually want to forget it, forget that it ever happened. Mm-hmm. But no, they're holding on to their storyline they've had for a quarter of a year. Yeah. And it was, I'm not going to go into detail of what it was like during the segment, but I just thought it was very well done. It was entertaining. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And I mean, and it's kind of cool because in a way it's kind of cool because they do have this history now.
Yeah.
And you're right, they've kind of gone back and forth with it. Whereas, you're right. Lots of times they would have this little mini feud, and then they go their separate ways. And exactly, you're just supposed to forget about it. So
sure,
it's kind of cool. It was long, though. Again, it was like 5 minutes long.
Was it that long? Okay.
It was a while.
Cool.
Second to last segment here, we had Angle and the Miz and Maurice. Basically, Miz and Maurice, Miz still didn't have a partner, but then someone ended up handing him a piece of paper, which indicated that he did have a partner.
He did have a partner. It was a big mystery, though.
A couple funny things back there is after that there was the Drifter was in the back again with his guitar.
Oh God, yeah, so random, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do something with the Drifter.
They have to. I mean,
it's getting a little old already.
Yeah. One last thing before we get to the main event is Angle was walking back and Austin Aries was with him, and Austin Aries handed him a banana.
Yeah, I hated that.
I thought it was funny.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll bring it up on the Raw S&M just to give you an idea. I hated that stupid banana part. I thought it was unnecessary. But we'll discuss it.
Sounds good.
But main event: Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. And maybe someone else.
Possibly.
I'm Ron Burgundy. So, how do you go from a $15,000 jacket to something a third grader put together with some staples and some Christmas lights? Quote from Corey Graves.
Of course it was.
That was great. Miz's partner didn't show up, and he started the match without a partner.
Yeah, and he basically stated the match is now canceled. He's like, forget it, we're done, it's canceled. We're not fighting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he just wanted to bail.
Just throw it. Yeah.
Kind of like what was that previous match that evening where they just wanted to walk out? Was that?
I don't know.
Where they walked out. Oh, that was Bliss. She just walked out as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, except Miz wanted to do it right at the start.
Yeah, he wasn't even going to start. Yeah,
so many cancellations.
He was just, we're going to cancel the match. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Angle came out saying, no, we're not canceling. It's still on.
It's going to be a 2-on-1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, there's actually some good teamwork by Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose. Some stupid idiot chants from the crowd.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
a fun handicap match.
Yeah, it was fun,
for the most part.
Yeah.
They were beating the tar out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Good tag team work between Ambrose and Jericho.
They work pretty good on the same side.
Yeah,
for sure.
Lots of comedy from Ambrose as usual, as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Graves, when Miz is doing those kicks to the chest of Miz, Miz's signature kicks is.
I like that. Hey, they're attributed to the Miz now.
Oh, for sure. So Bray Wyatt ended up helping the Miz when he showed up on the announcer's table with Dean, replacing where Miz was originally standing, and he ended up giving him the Sister Abigail into the Raw sign by the entrance, and there was essentially no ending to the match. No winner. Wyatt gave Sister Abigail to Jericho, then to The Miz, who was trying to be buddy-buddy with him. Then the show ended confusingly, in my opinion, somewhat ruining the match.
It was a really confusing ending. It really made no sense at all.
None.
I thought it was really dumb. It served no purpose at all.
One of the weirdest endings to a match I may have ever seen. The match just never. There was no ringing of the bell.
No, like it certainly didn't end. It just basically.
Did the match continue after the Raw went off the air? Doubtful, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. What happened?
Yeah, it was a no contest. Just got thrown out.
Oh, okay.
But there's no.
It's nice that we have to make our own assumptions.
Oh yeah,
right?
like we're just kind of speculating. How did the match end? Instead of them just telling us how it ended. So, or they could have even let.
Imagine that happened in UFC. Imagine they just leave. Well, who won?
What they could have done is Bray Wyatt. He laid out Dean Ambrose on the outside there, lays out Chris Jericho, lays out The Miz, and then throws one of them on top of the other. Doesn't even have to be them winning. Could have just rolled Chris Jericho on top of The Miz and basically said something like, "Hey, this is what you get."
Yeah.
For using me or whatever, however you want to do it. Just something. Because that would have at least made a little bit of sense, whereas what they did made no sense at all.
Oh, agreed. I just didn't like the ending.
No.
So that was Monday Night Raw, my friend.
Cool.
All right, time for some Raw S&M. My pick, best match, was the one we just discussed. Believe it or not, Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. Didn't like the ending, but the match overall was pretty entertaining. Yourself?
I actually really liked the 6-man tag.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked Seth Rollins, Cass, and Finn Balor, even though I'm not a big Finn Balor fan.
Okay.
Versus Samoa Joe and the Club.
Okay.
I would say was probably my favorite match of the night.
Nice. All right. Worst match of the night for me was an easy pick. Alicia Fox versus Dana Brooke. That thing was just trash.
Actually, getting back to the best match, aside from the very anticlimactic ending, I would throw Strowman versus Kalisto up there too.
It was in the back of my mind. That was actually my
entertaining.
number. That was my number 2.
That was your number 2, yeah.
But it wasn't close enough for me to have even mentioned it. But it was. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I did enjoy it.
So 6-man tag is still mine. I'd go with. I didn't watch the whole match, but Alicia Fox versus Dana Brooke was just bad.
Oh, it was terrible.
Like Apollo Crews versus Kurt Hawkins was better than that. So
it was. Yeah, it actually was, because there was, even that finisher that Crews did was impressive. Yeah. There was nothing impressive about the Alicia Fox Dana Brooke match.
No.
So, best segment. I actually have 2 that I noted. The Jericho highlight reel, of course, Miz TV Ambrose Asylum segment. That was very good. That was my favorite. I enjoyed very much the Alexa Bliss Bayley Sasha segment when Bliss was basically talking smack to Bayley. How about you?
Actually, I'm gonna agree with you here completely. I thought Alexa Bliss was absolutely. She was
spot on.
She was straight fire.
Straight fire,
as they say.
Sure.
But unfortunately, you have to have a really good, a really good foil to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately with Bayley and even Sasha, it just wasn't there. So the highlight reel with Miz TV and Ambrose, that was really, really good.
That was
so I would say that was the segment of the night for sure.
For sure.
What do you got for your worst segment?
So this was interesting. This is a good thing. Worst segment. I actually had trouble finding a bad segment this week. As I mentioned, that's a really good thing, because last week I easily found 3 very bad segments on Raw. So this week I had trouble, and I actually had to take portions out of 2 segments. So the Alexa Bliss Bayley Sasha segment that I just talked about, when Bayley was talking, was atrocious. She was terrible. Bliss saved that segment. Bliss is so talented. Bailey was garbage. It was hard to listen when Bailey was talking. So it's weird. You have a hot and cold on that segment, right? Number 2, this is stretching. That portion of the segment we were just discussing before, where Austin Aries is backstage. This is right before the main event, and he's talking to Angle and hands him a banana or something like that. That was so out of place and should not have been included in that segment whatsoever. I think that if they would have excluded that and just went straight to the Miz and Angle, it would have made it so much better. Sorry, man.
Okay.
The banana portion didn't fit.
Wasn't what you weren't feeling it, hey?
It made the list. How about you? What's your worst segment?
For me, how could you forget the nonsensical ramblings of Bray Wyatt and his House of Horrors match?
Vignette.
Oh, you wouldn't refer to that as a segment?
That's why I didn't mention it. It was horrible.
It's a segment.
Well, okay, fine. Geez, I would put that as number 1 then.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't include it because I saw it as a pre-recorded vignette kind of thing.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't live. Okay, well, yeah, that was garbage. So if we're going to call that a segment, which it is, you're right, by definition, ignore everything I just said. I like how you always call me out on at least one of the 4. And screw you, partner. And, yeah, that was just utter trash.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yep.
Delete.
Exactly. Delete. All right. So, yeah. So what do you think? You want to talk about SmackDown?
We can. We'll have to make it as designed, a SmackDown rush.
This will definitely be a rush here.
Let's make it a rush.
One nice thing about SmackDown, it is only 2 hours.
It is 2 hours. It's easier to talk about.
It is easier to talk about. There was some good stuff on here, some not so great stuff.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, SmackDown starts off with Renee Young in the ring, and she brings out Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay.
One thing I note here is that his entrance is so long.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a match. It was him coming down for an interview segment.
Yeah, I think essentially his entrance is supposed to appear like art, I'm assuming.
I guess. Yeah,
that's why
no,
it's so
you're
long.
Probably right, but I mean, I don't think it needs to be that long. And then of course the crowd sings along with it. And
of course.
I'm not a huge fan of that. So, yeah, so Renee basically thanks him and wants to ask him. Didn't actually get to finish because out comes Nakamura's first feud, his first partner, his first dance partner, Mr. Dolph Ziggler.
Oh boy, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, Ziggler actually wasn't too bad here. He kind of he basically says Nakamura is not who you think he is. He actually says his name's Michael, and he was born in Gary, Indiana.
What?
And he kind of started talking about him actually being one of the Jacksons, like.
Wait, did you just say that he didn't do that bad, or were you joking? This sounds horrible. This sounds so bad.
It was bad, but it was actually not too bad.
Sounds terrible. Boo.
He's not even watching and he's booing
I know.
Are they saying boo or boo-earns?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then he calls Nakamura a weirdo, and then Nakamura goes to speak, but for some reason, which I don't really understand, he keeps his mouthpiece in when he speaks. So not only does he have broken English...
Wait, he has his mouthpiece in just to come and talk?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
then
weird.
He's got the mouthpiece in, so you can't even understand him at all.
That's weird.
So basically, he ends up calling him a jackass.
Oh, okay.
And Ziggler goes to clock him, but Nakamura hits him with a reverse suplex. Which is kind of cool.
Okay.
And then yeah, Ziggler ran away.
That's like what Brock does, right?
No.
What's a reverse suplex?
It was kind of like.
Wouldn't that be a belly to belly then?
Do you know what Sting used to do, that Scorpion Death Drop?
Oh, I forget.
Or like the Dragon Sleeper? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Anyways, he flips him over like a suplex, but he lands on his belly instead of his back.
Oh, okay. I got it. Got it.
Yeah. So, Yeah, so AJ's out next to face Baron Corbin again.
Okay.
KO's on commentary. One thing I kind of like about SmackDown is when they come down to the ring, they kind of will show like a ticker of like some of their stats, like their weight, their height, where they're from, and then some kind of like some accomplishments that they've had.
Okay.
It's kind of neat. Yeah. So basically, they ask the announcers are asking, "How's KO preparing?" And KO's like, "Why would I tell you anything? Why would I tell you how I'm preparing?" So
It's just classic heel.
so great. And he's like, he basically says after
He makes everyone sound like a moron all the time.
after he beats Chris Jericho, it's gonna be he says what's gonna be trending on your little Twitter box there is new face of America.
Oh boy.
Yeah, one cool move that I noted here by Baron Corbin is he did this choke slam to AJ Styles into a backbreaker.
Really?
It was neat.
Man, he's innovative, that guy.
Yeah. Styles ends up winning the match with a sunset flip, and then KO and Corbin actually beat down Styles. And who comes down to make the save? Mr. Sami Zayn.
I actually read this today. I just couldn't remember because I usually just purge Sami Zayn news out of my mind.
Don't worry, it didn't last long because KO ends up taking control, and then he ends up hitting Styles with the pop-up powerbomb just to kind of show his dominance.
What happened to
over him.
Sami Zayn?
Just got beat up. He got thrown out of the ring.
Would you say he was almost buried? The burial of Sami Zayn.
We are on SmackDown now, so it's quite possible.
Excellent.
Next, what they do is they decide that they're going to do, I guess, to be the number one contender for the tag team titles, they're going to do a Beat the Clock challenge.
Okay.
So the first Beat the Clock challenge was American Alpha versus the Clones. They kind of showed the back when the Clones showed up on SmackDown. They beat up American Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love their finisher. I guess they've only done it twice now, but it's kind of a power bomb into that backcracker that Carlito used to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool move. One thing I also noted here is this is something that Enzo always does, and this is something that Gable always does. Is he always plays the face in peril. He's always, the smaller guy stuck in the corner by the heels. And
That's the guy with the long hair?
The long hair.
Yeah, he does.
And then he's got to, and then eventually he makes it over to the Jordan for the hot tag. It's the same formula every single match. But yeah, so basically, American Alpha ends up winning the match in 5 minutes 17 seconds.
Okay.
And that sets the time now. That's now the time to beat. They announced Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan tonight.
Well, that's just a match made in heaven there.
Oh, yeah. And then after that, they had a little video segment saying, The New Day is coming soon. Double yay.
Oh, you guys can have them.
Interesting, we were talking about Rusev possibly having some heat from cutting his hair.
Okay.
They actually had a little segment with Rusev.
Okay.
Actually on there. He says he doesn't like Shane and Daniel Bryan. He doesn't like the fact that he was traded to SmackDown. He says the only way he's coming to SmackDown is he's going to show up to Money in the Bank and he's demanding a world title shot at the event.
I didn't even know Rusev was traded to SmackDown.
Him and Lana.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, they were.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about when you and I were breaking the news. I don't remember Rusev being... Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we may not have really talked about them
No.
because there was really no impact.
Well, he was injured, right?
Because he was injured at the time,
that's
yeah.
why.
So that could be why we never really
Interesting.
mentioned it. But yeah, so he's saying he wants a title shot at Money in the Bank, which is in June.
He could get it.
Could get
You
it.
never know. Like, SmackDown might be where he can actually move ahead, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the interesting thing about that is, if that's what happens, could it be Handsome Rusev versus Hard Body Mahal?
Uh-oh. Round 4. Jeez.
Yeah, so anyways, the next segment here is we got Becky in the back with a new female announcer, who I don't know, didn't catch her name, I don't know who she is, but I noted that she's crazy small, as
Okay.
Becky Lynch towers over her.
Really?
And Becky Lynch is not very tall.
Wow. Okay. No, she's not.
No. And then, yeah, basically, she's talking just kind of about the history between her and Charlotte. And that's when Natalia, Tamina, and Carmelsworth comes down and say, you better pick your side.
Is that their name?
Against-
Carmelsworth?
I think that's what they're kind of called, yeah.
Okay.
They say to, the heels say to Becky, you better pick your side against Charlotte. Next match was Orton versus Rowan. Completely skipped the match. I'm going to presume Randy Orton won.
Yeah, I'm okay with skipping that one. Boy, what a filler. We've got nothing for you, Randy. We'll put you versus Eric Rowan again.
Yeah. After the match, Orton gets on the mic and he's yakking about his match against Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Says he doesn't know what a House of Horrors match is, but he has a feeling that on Sunday he's going to find out. Well done, Randy Orton. Well done.
I don't know how long I'm going to sleep tonight, but I'll tell you one thing, James. Tomorrow, I may have a better idea.
Of how long I slept.
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. So, anyways, Jinder Mahal comes down, says, don't worry about the House of Horrors, because he's the true horror.
Ooh.
He has more wealth, talent, class, and culture than anyone in this arena. And he's going to take the WWE title back to his people at Backlash.
That's almost more interesting than the whole House of Horrors thing.
Sure is. And then he says he's going to address his people now in his native language, and he starts talking Punjabi.
He's good on the mic, eh?
He's actually quite
Yeah.
good on the mic, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got this deep, just this guttural, like, rasp to his voice
Okay.
when he's upset. So yeah, Orton goes to beat him down, but the Bollywood Boys show up, and they actually call them the Bollywood Boys at first,
Oh,
but then they refer to them after as the Singh brothers.
they screwed up.
Yeah, they kind of whatever. It's all good.
Yeah.
So that was that. Next was a vignette for Lana, who is now apparently doing some sort of dancing gimmick.
I thought she was a wrestler now.
She is a wrestler.
Okay.
But she was wearing like this sequiny, like long gown,
Okay.
and doing like this dance around the chair.
Hmm.
Around a chair. So I guess that's gonna be her new gimmick, and it just said coming soon. So.
All right.
Next thing you know, you've got Jinder Mahal and the Bollywood Boys in a limo leaving, and what I guess I missed was that after he beat down Orton, he stole the WWE title. So he's taken off in the limo, and he's out of the sunroof, and he's got the title in his arms.
Jeez.
So it's like, whew,
Okay.
this is kind of getting hot.
Yeah.
Next was another Beat the Clock tag match. It was the Ascension versus Breezango.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Breezango wins, and they actually beat the time of American Alpha.
If only my face could be. You could hear my face on this podcast.
We're gonna hear your face again
Uh-oh.
because those apparently were the only teams involved. Breezango is now the number one contenders
What?
to the SmackDown tag titles.
Come on.
I couldn't write that.
Okay, so right now, Breezango is the number one contender to the SmackDown title.
That's right.
And Jinder Mahal will be facing Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship.
It's like Bizarro World.
This is Bizarro World.
What is happening?
I don't know. I really don't know.
At least Jinder Mahal is interesting.
I know. It's just you wouldn't have expected it.
No.
Considering I kind of don't really have any issues with Jinder Mahal, actually.
Yeah.
It's just the way that he was kind of built up. I like to see, actually, underdogs sometimes kind of make it. It's the way it was done.
That's what
it
it
was
is,
so
yeah.
weird. But, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Breezango at all.
Right.
So.
But
But they're made for each other, that's for sure.
Sure.
Which is weird. Same character.
But yeah, I couldn't believe that those were the only teams involved. I was like, oh, they're doing this beat the clock challenge,
Yeah.
and that was it. The only one other team had to beat the clock.
The other team was American Alpha and
American Alpha beat
the
the Clones.
Clones.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Okay.
and they beat the clock. Like the first clock was 5:17, and this clock was only like 3.5 minutes. Like the match was only like 3.5 minutes long.
Well planned, guys. Well planned.
So yeah, second to last segment here is Renee. She's in the back with Naomi, wearing the belt.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, Naomi calls Charlotte a standout superstar.
Oh, you can just feel the face turn happening.
Yeah.
The face turn happening.
And basically she says she's going to win.
Okay.
All right. Main event is Charlotte versus Naomi. Read this little tidbit today. Charlotte, the first woman ever to main event a Raw, a Smackdown, and a pay-per-view.
Very nice.
Yeah, first woman ever. Pretty
For
cool.
her. Yep.
Not necessarily a bad match, but ends up getting thrown out with when Natalya, Tamina, and Carmella they come down and they take out Charlotte.
Hey, legitimate question for you.
Sure.
Was Charlotte acting very heel before that interference, or were you feeling it? Was it feeling a little different for you?
It seemed like it was kind of a respectable match. Yeah,
it's a face turn.
It's gonna come for sure, right? So,
yeah.
Well, you know what? It's not necessarily. It's not bad.
Oh no, it's not horrible.
It makes sense
it's just
to an extent,
very
but,
quick.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
We're 2 weeks into the or 3 weeks into the change in brands, right? So.
Yeah, and so Charlotte and Naomi are going after each other at Payback? Is that right? Charlotte
At Backlash, I'm not even sure
Backlash,
because this was a title match.
Oh yeah. No, so they probably won't. No,
I don't know. So maybe it'll be like a
Yeah.
3-on-2 match or something.
Sure.
Might not be even a title match. So, yeah, and then Naomi tries to intervene and they beat her down too.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the end of the match. The heels are standing tall and.
Yeah,
Naomi
Naomi
and
was
Charlotte
trying to help Charlotte. Yeah.
One thing that I find weird is this is the second time now in 2 weeks that we've heard this. This doesn't actually even quite make sense. But the announcers were indicated that Charlotte and Naomi was a dream matchup.
Really?
Like they referred to that even like last week with Cesaro and Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
They refer to that as this is a dream match. But this one here, they called a dream match as well. It was Charlotte versus Naomi. That wouldn't be my definition of a dream match, but
No.
okay.
Yeah, I think they're overusing that. You know, when they said like Cesaro versus Jeff.
Yeah.
That was no dream match.
No.
Like, I don't know.
So yeah. So anyways, overall, not a bad show. If I had to say the best match, I'd go with probably Styles and Corbin.
Okay.
That was the best match. I'd probably have to say the worst match was Orton and Rowan.
Yep.
Feel bad for Rowan.
I don't. Okay.
Best segment? I think
So wait, that was worse than Breezango's match?
Well, I guess I didn't really watch it.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard to really say.
Okay.
Well, it's not necessarily the Breezango match was bad. Like it was
Right.
Ascension versus Breezango. It just the thing as a whole is not great.
Right.
Like the whole situation, I don't really like.
Right.
And then probably best segment, I'd go with the whole probably Orton and Mahal.
Okay.
That was a really good segment.
Okay.
And then worst segment probably. I don't know that. Nakamura and Ziggler didn't really do it for me. Too much.
No, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I missed the part here. Just getting back to you were talking about Charlotte kind of being in the face.
Right.
Earlier in the night, she actually referred to herself as the greatest superstar in history.
Jeez, nice.
And she referred to her mission for the SmackDown Championship as the Drive for 5.
Drive for
This is gonna be her
5.
fifth
Fifth
title.
time.
Fifth
Wow.
fifth women's title. So that was a little heelish for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but worst segment. Yeah, I don't know what the worst segment was. It was pretty tough. There weren't a
I'll
whole.
pick one for you, Nakamura and
yeah,
Ziggler.
I think if we had to pick one, it'd be that one.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds pretty
It was
bad.
okay. It was okay. It wasn't the worst work that Ziggler's ever done, but it certainly wasn't anything great.
Right.
So yeah, that is the SmackDown Rush. Hopefully that was rushed enough for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a decent show. I do like SmackDown because it's not so long.
Not so long. Yeah, 3 hours is a long time, Raw, to get through it.
A whole
I'll be
extra
honest.
hour is a lot.
Oh, absolutely. There's
Yeah.
a lot that can happen in an hour, or not a lot that can
Yeah.
happen.
This coming weekend, it's going to be, or this coming weekend/week, it's going to be tricky because you've got Payback.
Looking forward to Payback.
A couple of matches.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it as much as other pay-per-views this year. You know, the Jericho-Kevin Owens match, not so much, and unfortunately, as much as I'd like to be. What's the other matches that are...
There's the House of Horrors.
The only thing I'm interested about that is seeing what actually is going to happen,
Mhm.
whether it be good or bad. And we're missing an important one here. Another big Raw.
Alexa Bliss versus Bailey.
Yeah, that could be okay,
Mhm.
I guess, from the Alexa Bliss. You know, I see it's just, and the Hardys versus Cesaro and Sheamus may
the
be
tag title
okay.
match, yeah.
That may be all right. I think there's still a Raw one we're missing here. Is there Dean or Miz or anyone wrestling on this card?
Oh, we should have written these down.
Well, the thing is, I'm not really excited for Payback that much. We're going to review it quickly next week. Give our opinions on it because I'm going to watch it. I don't know. Are you going to watch it or?
I'm not sure if I'm going to get a chance to.
I'll squeeze it in.
Yeah.
And I'll give my quick review, similar to that how we did WrestleMania 33's review. You'll quickly name the match, give our thoughts on it, and move on. But not the strongest pay-per-view in my opinion they've had in a while. It's maybe the shakeup has caused this feeling, but I'm hoping that me going in with a lower expectation, I may be pleasantly surprised.
We shall see.
We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it's been a good podcast, James. And anything else to add to our discussion for the evening?
No, I think we're good. Episode 12 is in the books. Thanks again for listening.
Yeah.
We're hoping you're enjoying the conversations as much as we do. Hoping that you are subscribed on iTunes. That'd be great. Subscribed on YouTube would be a great thing as well. And if you could leave us some comments, some feedback. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, you can find us on, if you're using an Android device, Podcast Addict, I do believe, is the name.
Yeah, actually, there are quite a few different...
Feedburner.com, you can find us.
Yeah, you can definitely find them there for sure. Sorry, just jumping back real quick to Payback. How could we forget? Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman.
And that was the match I was forgetting. I knew there was the you know what? That match probably will be good. As much as we aren't Roman Reigns fans, the match as a whole, that actually probably... I don't know if it'll steal the show, but it'll be probably one of the better ones for sure.
Seth Rollins also is facing Samoa Joe.
Well, that could be a goodie.
Which could be a good one as well.
Yeah, that's right, of course.
Yeah.
And there's some good storyline in there.
For sure. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so we'll give it a quick review next week.
For sure.
And we'll go then. We'll go from there.
Absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure. Till next time, keep fit and have fun. We'll catch you next time.
Ciao for now.